Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles. Chapter 16-17. Now. The people of the Everlasting Alliance were truly at their wits' end. Escape. The palace master of Fengtian Palace would definitely intercept them. Not escape. Once Qin Feiyang and the others arrived, there would be no way out. What should they do? Zhao Tailai's eyes flickered as he turned to look at Ning Mingyi and transmitted his voice, "Alliance Master, take everyone and escape. I'll stay and stall them." "You," Ning Mingyi was shocked. Zhao Tailai sighed, "Someone has to be sacrificed. I have the Black Demon Blade, I should be able to stall for a while." Ning Mingyi said, "No, we have to go together." "Alliance Master, why are you still so indecisive at this time? We have no other way out now. We have to go as far as we can." Zhao Tailai roared secretly. Ning Mingyi lowered his head and remained silent. Zhao Tailai said, "I don't have any other requests. After you escape, help me save my daughter. She's the only thing I care about in this world." Ning Mingyi raised his head and looked at Zhao Tailai. "Go." Zhao Tailai urged. Ning Mingyi gritted his teeth, looked at Zhao Tailai, and said word by word, "From now on, your daughter is my daughter. As long as I'm alive, I won't let her suffer any grievances." "Thank you." Zhao Tailai said. "Follow me." Ning Mingyi roared, turned around, and chased after Yu Huang like lightning. Because his two sons, Zhao Shimen, as well as the great deacon and the second deacon, were still in Yu Huang's hands. The third deacon and the others glanced at Zhao Tailai and did not hesitate any longer. They turned around and chased after Ning Mingyi. Clang! But at this time, the palace master of Fengtian Palace appeared in front of Ning Mingyi and the others. The azure light sword recovered and slashed through the air. Thousands of sword chi rushed toward the group of people like an avalanche. "Your opponent is me." Zhao Tailai roared and leaped over the heads of Ning Mingyi's group. He raised his black devil saber and slashed down. Saber chi swept out and collided with the sword chi in a frenzy. Ning Mingyi's group did not utter a single word. They directly bypassed the two of them and fled forward. "Don't even think about it." Palace Master Feng Tian roared and immediately abandoned Zhao Tailai. He turned around and chased after the group of people at lightning speed. "Stay here." But at the same time, Zhao Tailai roared as his quasi-divinity energy surged out. A divine power enchantment instantly appeared. The palace master of Fengtian Palace snorted coldly and slashed out with his azure light sword. The enchantment shattered on the spot. Although the palace master of Fengtian Palace quickly shattered the enchantment, Zhao Tailai took the opportunity to step in front of him. "Get out of my way." Seeing Ning Mingyi's group getting further and further away, the palace master of the Sky Conferring Palace roared like thunder. Zhao Tailai grinned sinisterly, "You want me to move aside? Let's see if you have the ability." The palace master of Fengtian Palace's eyes flashed and suddenly disappeared. Zhao Tailai was not surprised at all. With a wave of his hand, the quasi-divinity energy surged out and another divine power enchantment appeared, imprisoning the spatial divine object. "Damn it!" The palace master of Fengtian Palace appeared again and slashed out with his azure light sword. The enchantment shattered with a bang. But at this moment, Ning Mingyi's group had already fled 1,000 miles away. What is this Qin Feiyang doing? They actually escaped. Yu Huang sensed the aura of a group of people. When he turned around to look, his eyes suddenly widened. He then hurriedly took the Grand Deacon and the others and fled for their lives. Ning Mingyi roared, "Leave them behind and I'll spare your life." "Fuck. Do you think this emperor is scared?" Upon hearing this, Yu Huang cursed and simply stopped. He stared at Ning Mingyi's group and grinned sinisterly, "If you dare to come over again, this emperor will directly swallow them." "You," Ning Mingi suddenly braked and stopped in the void, angrily staring at Yu Huang. Yu Huang used the snake's tongue to wrap around the Grand Deacon and the others. He laughed and said, "They are right next to this emperor's mouth. As long as this emperor retracts his tongue, they will enter this emperor's mouth. Do you want to try?" Ning Yang roared, "Father, don't worry about us, let's go." "Yes. We can die, but you can't die. Because if you die, the Vanga League will really be gone. Let's go." Ning Yifeng also roared. Ning Mingi looked at the two of them, then looked at Zhao Shimeng and the Grand Deacon. He then shouted to the group of people behind him, "Let's go." Immediately, the group of people bypassed Yu Huang and fled forward. "I'm scared to death, let's go." Yu Huang's body was covered in cold sweat as he quickly flew towards the palace master of Feng Tian Palace. He was afraid that Ning Mingi did not care about the lives of these people and directly killed him. Although he had 2 artifacts now, one had to know that the Vanga League had dozens of fake gods. Moreover, Ning Mingi had a divine phoenix saber that was even more terrifying than the sky-breaking staff. If they really fought, he would be finished in an instant. "Where do you think you are going?" But at this moment, an icy voice could be heard. Following closely, a figure appeared out of thin air, and appeared in front of Ning Mingi. It was Willow Tree. As soon as he appeared, he grabbed the Chang Shui and stabbed towards Ning Mingi's lower abdomen. Ah, how could Ning Mingi expect Willow Tree to be here? He was not prepared at all. The Chang Shui directly entered his lower abdomen, blood splattering everywhere. Alliance Master. The expressions of the 3rd Deacon and the others changed. After coming back to their senses, they hurriedly charged toward Lu Mu. Willow Tree smiled coldly, took out the Chang Shui, snatched the divine phoenix saber from the Alliance Master's hand, and disappeared without a trace. "Damn it! My divine phoenix saber, my sea of chi," the Alliance Master roared. "Alliance Master, quickly take the spiritual sea pill." One of the fake gods quickly took out a spiritual sea pill and stuffed it into Ning Mingi's mouth. How could he be in front of us? The group of people scanned the void in surprise. Behind them, the palace master of Feng Tian Palace and Zhao Tailai were also shocked. But then, a trace of joy appeared on the palace master's face as he muttered, "What a cunning kid, he really did not let me down. What is going on?" With his speed and the ancient castle, how could he chase after everyone? Zhao Tailai roared endlessly. "There is something I have to tell you. Don't underestimate Qin Feiyang." The palace master of Feng Tian Palace smiled coldly and rushed towards Zhao Tailai with the azure light sword in his hand. "What are you waiting for? Take the Alliance Master and leave." Zhao Tailai quickly rushed towards the palace master of Feng Tian Palace and roared at the 3rd Deacon and the others. Hearing Zhao Tailai's roar, the 3rd Deacon immediately carried the Alliance Master and prepared to escape. But suddenly, the Willow Tree appeared again. And Li Yuan and a group of fake gods appeared together with him. These people were like hungry wolves pouncing on their prey. As soon as they appeared, they rushed towards the fake gods of the Vanga League. Ah, the 3rd Deacon and the others panicked and were sent flying on the spot. The Willow Tree directly chopped off the head of an old man. His screams resounded throughout the world. "How did you catch up so quickly?" The 3rd Deacon held Ning Mingi tightly and stared at the Willow Tree in disbelief. If you can think of it, so can the young master. He knows that with his cultivation level and the castle, he can't catch up with you. So after those 2 self-destructed, he immediately gave me the castle and asked me to use it to chase after you. Just now, when you were confronting the palace master, we had already caught up. We were just 1 step away. But this step was coincidentally taken by Yu Huang. He used the Grand Deacon and the others to force you to stop, so we naturally caught up with you. The Willow Tree sneered. "Damn you, Qin Feiyang. What do you want? The third deacon roared hysterically. The person who planned to deal with the Vanga League was Qin Feiyang. The person who destroyed their Dimension Divine item was also Qin Feiyang. And now, it was Qin Feiyang who had cut off their only way out. Why was this little bastard so troublesome? If it weren't for him, the Vanga League would not be afraid even if the palace of Fengtian started a war. Don't blame the young master. If you didn't try to kill the young master in the Qingyang Mountains, he wouldn't have attacked you. You can defy the heavens, but you can't survive the sins you bring upon yourself. You asked for it. The willow tree sneered, waved his hand, and shouted, "Kill." Li Yuan and the others immediately performed their battle arts and activated their fighting souls. "Leader, what should we do?" Seeing this, all the fake gods of the Vanga League looked at Ning Mingi. Ning Mingi closed his eyes in despair. Was the Vanga League really at the end of its road? Qin Feiyang alone had forced the Vanga League to such an extent. He couldn't accept it. He couldn't accept it. Ning Mingi suddenly opened his eyes and roared, "Even if we die, we will die with dignity. All of you, self-destruct. All of you, self-destruct." Hearing this, Li Yuan and the others froze. Whoosh! Suddenly, Qin Feiyang appeared in front of the willow tree, looked down at the group of people, and said calmly, "I can give you a way out." Ning Mingi and the others trembled, as if they had found a life-saving straw. They quickly looked at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang said, "Submit to me." What? Hearing this, the first people to change their expressions were not the Vanga League, but Li Yuan and the others. If the Vanga League also submitted to Qin Feiyang, then Qin Feiyang would really be invincible in the Black Tortoise world. No matter what, they couldn't let him have his way. Li Yuan's heart sank. He turned to Qin Feiyang and said with a smile, "Brother Qin, this is not part of our plan. The plan can be changed. There are so many fake gods. It would be a waste to kill them all. Of course, I can assure you that even if the Vanga League still exists, it will not harm the interests of Fengtian Palace in the future." Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Li Yuan said anxiously, "Brother Qin, these people are unruly. Even if you use the slave seal to control them, they might not listen to you." Qin Feiyang looked at the group of people and said, "If I give you a way out, will you listen to me?" We, Ning Mingi and the others stammered. "Do you see that? If they would listen to you, they wouldn't be hesitating now." Li Yuan said. "Li Yuan, do you want us to die that badly?" "That's true. If everyone in the Vanga League dies, no one will be able to stop Fengtian Palace's ambition to conquer the Black Tortoise world. However, I won't let you have your way." Ning Mingi smiled coldly, looked at Qin Feiyang, and said, "We are willing to submit to you, and swear that if we have second thoughts, may the heavens and earth destroy us." Chapter 16:18. Swish. At this time, the palace master of Fengtian Palace and Zhao Tailai also flew over. Zhao Tailai said anxiously, "Leader, are you kidding? Do you really want to submit to Qin Feiyang? Do we have any other choice now?" Ning Mingi smiled bitterly. Zhao Tailai was silent. The palace master of Fengtian Palace walked to Qin Feiyang's side and looked at Ning Mingi and the others. He frowned and said, "Brother Qin, what you're doing is inappropriate." "Why is it inappropriate?" "I just want to give them a chance to turn over a new leaf. After all, people make mistakes, don't they? There's no need to kill them all. Don't worry, I'll control them well and won't bring trouble to Fengtian Palace." Qin Feiyang smiled. The palace master of Fengtian Palace raised his eyebrows. It seemed that this man was determined to take these people in. Qin Feiyang looked at Ning Mingi and the others and said with a smile, "Destroy their sea of qi." This, the group of people's faces changed. Destroy their sea of qi. If they really destroyed their sea of qi, what if Qin Feiyang went back on his words and wanted to kill them? One had to know. Once their Sea of Qi was destroyed, they would be a cripple no matter how strong they were. Anyone could easily get rid of them. Destroy their cultivation. Li Yuan was stunned, and his eyes flashed with an inexplicable light. Can you hurry up? Willow Tree urged. Ning Mingi looked at Qin Feiyang and said, can you guarantee that after we destroy our Sea of Qi, they won't take the opportunity to attack us? Of course. Qin Feiyang nodded and then looked at Willow Tree and said, release your divine sense, don't let the people of the Tianyang Empire take advantage of this. Understood. Willow Tree nodded. If the people of the Tianyang Empire were hiding nearby, they would definitely not let go of this opportunity when they saw the people of the Vangu League destroy their Sea of Qi. Because once the people of the Vangu League followed the young master's strength would be even stronger. The Heavenly Sun Empire would never allow such a thing to happen. Boom! He immediately released his divine sense, which rolled out in all directions. In an instant, it covered a radius of several thousand miles. Immediately. Willow Tree raised his eyebrows. What is it? Everyone looked at him suspiciously. Willow Tree raised his head and looked towards the space not too far away from him. A wisp of a fierce light flashed through his eyes as he said, there's a spatial artifact there. Really? Qin Feiyang was stunned. He looked up and said jokingly, Mu Tianyang, are you really going to hide in the dark and reap the benefits? Before he could finish, Willow Tree looked at Qin Feiyang and said, they left. Ignore them. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and looked at Ning Mingi's group. He said impatiently, I don't have much patience. Hurry up. The third deacon said to himself, Alliance Master, Vice Alliance Master, you have to think twice. There's nothing to think about. It's decided. Although following him will make our Vangu League a laughing stock in the Black Tortoise world, at least we can save everyone's lives. Qin Feiyang can't stay in the Black Tortoise world forever. After he leaves, will still be us. The Vangu League will still be the Vangu League. There won't be any changes. Zhao Tailai sighed. The group of fake gods sighed when they heard that. Their expressions were incomparably desolate. Ning Mingi took a deep breath and looked at Qin Feiyang. He said, my Sea of Qi has been destroyed by Willow Tree. Control me first. Qin Feiyang formed a seal with both hands. A seal of slavery appeared and sank into Ning Mingi's head. After Ning Mingi was controlled, Zhao Tailai and the other deacons looked at each other and destroyed their own Sea of Qi. But at this moment, Li Yuan, who was standing beside Qin Feiyang, had a murderous look in his eyes. He stretched out his arm and grabbed Qin Feiyang's neck like an eagle's claw. Willow Tree and Yo Huang's expressions changed. Ning Mingi and Zhao Tailai's expressions changed as well. Even the people of Fengtian Palace and their palace master were caught off guard. Willow Tree shouted, Li Yuan, what are you doing? What am I doing? Li Yuan smiled coldly and said, don't you think that this is an opportunity? What do you mean? Willow Tree's expression darkened. Originally, the palace master and I had discussed that after destroying the Vangu League and the Tianyang Empire, we would send you out of the Black Tortoise world. This way, Fengtian Palace would be able to unify the Black Tortoise world. But I didn't expect you to change your mind and want to subdue the Vangu League. This made me very angry. But because of Chang Shui and the Vangu League's cultivation, I didn't dare to fall out with you. So I was waiting for an opportunity. And this opportunity is now. The Vangu League's sea of popularity has been destroyed. They are fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered by Fengtian Palace. The most important thing is that Qin Feiyang is also in my hands. Right now, I only need to use a bit of strength to kill him. So now, Fengtian Palace has the final say. Palace Master, this is a good opportunity. As long as we get rid of the Vanga League, kill Qin Feiyang, and get Chang Shui and the castle, no one will be able to threaten Fengtian Palace. Li Yuan laughed loudly. Willow Tree, Yu Huang, and the Vanga League's faces darkened. The people from the Fengtian Palace looked at Li Yuan, then at Qin Feiyang and the others. Their hearts were moved. When the palace master of Fengtian Palace heard Li Yuan's words, he glanced at Qin Feiyang and the others. His eyes flickered. Qin Feiyang frowned and said, I have already promised that the Vanga League will not threaten Fengtian Palace. Promise? You can't be that naive. Do you think we will believe you with just a few words? Just as you said, the plan can be changed. Chang Shui is such a powerful artifact. If we have the chance to get it, why don't we do it? Li Yuan sneered. Fine. I don't care. You can do whatever you want with the Vanga League. Qin Feiyang said. Ning Mingyi and the others panicked. No, no, no. You don't have the final say now. It's me. We will kill the Vanga League. But we will not let you go either. Ask Willow Tree to give me the Chang Shui. I will consider letting you suffer less before you die. Li Yuan laughed cruelly. Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. He said, Palace Master of Fengtian Palace, say something. Are we going to continue being friends? Or are we going to be enemies? The Palace Master of Fengtian Palace remained silent. He was struggling in his heart. Li Yuan said anxiously, My lord, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Palace Master, we agree with Li Yuan's decision. The second elder said. The others nodded. They looked at the Chang Shui with greed in their eyes. The Palace Master of Fengtian Palace glanced at Qin Feiyang, Li Yuan, and the others. He looked hesitant as if he could not make a decision. Li Yuan shouted, Elders, let's kill the Vanga League first. The second elder and the others immediately walked toward the Vanga League. Ning Mingyi's heart was burning with anxiety as he exclaimed, Qin Feiyang, it was because we believed in you that we crippled our cultivations. You can't just ignore us now. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed coldly. He said, Palace Master, are you sure you don't want to stop Li Yuan? The Palace Master of Fengtian Palace gritted his teeth and looked at Li Yuan, let go of Brother Qin. What? Li Yuan was stunned. The other elders also stopped and turned to look at the Palace Master of Fengtian Palace in disbelief. The Palace Master did not agree to such a good opportunity. The Palace Master of Fengtian Palace said angrily, I order you to let go of him. Li Yuan said angrily, Qin Feiyang's life is in my hands. What are you afraid of? Peace is the most important thing. The Palace Master of Fengtian Palace said. Peace is the most important thing. Li Yuan laughed and shook his head, My lord, don't find excuses for your weakness. You're just afraid that Qin Feiyang has other tricks up his sleeves. In other words, you're afraid of death. Impudent. The Palace Master of Fengtian Palace said angrily. Impudent? Today, I'll show you how impudent I am. Elders, do it now. Li Yuan shouted. The Palace Master of Fengtian Palace swung his azure light sword. He glanced at the elders and said, Let's see who dares. The elders' pupils shrank. They stood in the air, not daring to move. Li Yuan shouted, Everyone, he's no longer fit to be the Palace Master of Fengtian Palace. Please think of the bigger picture. How dare you? The Palace Master of Fengtian Palace was so angry that his body trembled. Qin Feiyang said, I remember Willow Tree said that you're the Palace Master's servant. As a servant, how dare you speak to your master like that? How unruly. Ha, unruly. In this world, the fist is the king. Li Yuan laughed wildly. He stared at Willow Tree and shouted, Give me the Chang Shui. Now, now. Willow Tree looked at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang said, "Give it to him." This, Willow Tree's face suddenly showed a trace of anxiety. "Do you remember what I said to you before?" "It's mine, it'll always be mine," Qin Feiyang said. Willow Tree's eyes lit up. Without hesitation, he threw the Chang Shui to Li Yuan. Li Yuan grabbed the Chang Shui. His face was full of excitement. He shouted, "Erase the blood contract inside. You'll regret it." Willow Tree smiled coldly. With a thought, the blood contract inside the Chang Shui disappeared on the spot. Li Yuan immediately dripped his blood to recognize it as his master. After successfully recognizing it as his master, he immediately threw his head back and laughed wildly. "Who else can be my opponent now? Vanga League? Fengtian Palace? Tianyang Empire? Nether Hall? I'm the overlord of the Black Tortoise world. All of you, submit to me." Li Yuan suddenly turned his head and stared at the palace master of Fengtian Palace. He laughed sinisterly, "And you, I've tolerated you for a long time. If you weren't the palace master of Fengtian Palace and I had to rely on you to survive in the Black Tortoise world, I would have killed you long ago." The palace master of Fengtian Palace was instantly furious. He said coldly, "So this is your true face?" "That's right. I've always tolerated you before. Why do I have to be your servant? Didn't you say that everyone is equal? Why don't I have the word equal? Do I have to act according to your whims all the time? Why? I don't accept it. That's why I swore that one day, I would become an existence that the world would respect and fear. Now I've done it. With Chang Shui here, who dares to compete with me? As for you, don't worry, I won't kill you. I'll make you my servant forever. You'll serve me tea and listen to my orders." Li Yuan laughed. "Bastard. Don't forget, I'm the one who made you who you are today. If it weren't for me, would you have your current cultivation? Would you have become an elder of Fengtian Palace? You're simply a white-eyed wolf." The palace master of Fengtian Palace was furious. "That's right. It's because I remember this that I don't plan to kill you. Aren't I just repaying your kindness?" Chapter 1619. The palace master of the palace of Fengtian clenched his fists and his body trembled violently. He was pissed off. Li Yuan had always been the person he trusted the most in the palace of Fengtian. Therefore, he had spent a lot of effort and resources to cultivate Li Yuan. Even the most important part of the 9-palace sword array, the sword heart, was controlled by Li Yuan. However, he didn't expect that he had cultivated a white-eyed wolf who couldn't be fed. He must have been blind. It wasn't until now that he saw the true face of this person. Li Yuan sneered at the palace master of the palace of Fengtian, then looked at the elders and the other fake gods of the palace of Fengtian and said, "Now, I'll give you a chance to serve me." The elders and the group of fake gods looked at Li Yuan with fear in their eyes. However, the source of their fear was not Li Yuan, but Chang Shui in his hands. "Have I said enough?" Suddenly, Qin Feiyang said. Li Yuan shouted, "Shut up. I'll teach you a lesson later." "Teach me a lesson? Don't you think it's too early to be proud? Do you really think you can control Chang Shui? Ridiculous. What's mine will always be mine. Even if it's in your hands, you can't catch it." Qin Feiyang sneered and said sincerely, "Chang Shui, come back." Li Yuan was slightly stunned, then he couldn't help but laugh and said, "Are you stupid? I've already recognized Chang Shui as my master. Do you think it will return to you just because you said so?" However, before he finished speaking, there was a loud clang and Chang Shui emitted a bright divine light. "What's going on?" Li Yuan was shocked. The others also looked at Chang Shui in surprise. The next moment, Li Yuan's body trembled violently and he spat out a mouthful of blood. How is this possible? The blood contract inside, it was actually, his face was pale and filled with disbelief. Blood contract? What's wrong with the blood contract? Everyone was shocked when they heard this. At the same time, Chang Shui emitted a terrifying aura, shaking off Li Yuan's 5 fingers, and automatically flew out of his hand. Damn it! Li Yuan was infuriated, killing intent surging in his eyes. He grabbed Qin Feiyang's neck with his other hand and prepared to crush Qin Feiyang's throat. However, Chang Shui transformed into a streak of light and swept towards Li Yuan's shoulder like lightning. Ah! Li Yuan let out a miserable howl. His entire arm was chopped off in an instant. The wound on his shoulder immediately spurted out blood. How is this possible? Li Yuan widened his eyes in anger. Qin Feiyang chuckled. He raised his arm and opened his palm. Chang Shui immediately fell into his palm. Seeing this scene, everyone present was dumbfounded. It was automatically protecting its master. Many divine artifacts were capable of automatically protecting their owners. But the key point was that Li Yuan had already dripped his blood on it. In other words, the owner of Chang Shui had become Li Yuan. If it wanted to protect its master, it should be protecting Li Yuan. But why was it protecting Qin Feiyang? What was going on? Willow Tree was also in disbelief. He had heard from Qin Feiyang that Chang Shui would never leave him. Even if someone dripped his blood on it, it would be useless. Originally, he thought that this was nonsense. However, he didn't expect it to be true. Qin Feiyang grabbed Chang Shui, turned to look at Li Yuan, and said, "Is the scene in front of you far beyond your imagination? Why is this happening? Chang Shui actually took the initiative to erase my blood contract. How is this possible?" Li Yuan roared. What? Took the initiative to erase his blood contract? The palace master of Fengtian Palace and the others, as well as Ning Mingyi, were all dumbfounded. Took the initiative to erase Li Yuan's blood contract. This was more than beyond imagination. It was completely impossible. But how could Chang Shui do it? I don't know either. But I can feel that there is some kind of bond between Chang Shui and me. No one or anything can cut it off. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Isn't this too incredible? Everyone murmured. How is it? Do you feel desperate now? You said everything before. I think not only me, but also the palace master won't let you go. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Li Yuan's body trembled. He quickly turned around and knelt in front of the palace master of Fengtian Palace, begging, "Lord, I was confused just now. I didn't mean to say those words. Please forgive me." Forgive? The palace master of Fengtian Palace suddenly had a murderous look in his eyes. In fact, Li Yuan's betrayal was just a small matter in his eyes. The most important thing was that Li Yuan almost destroyed the entire Fengtian Palace. Previously, if he had listened to Li Yuan's instigation and fell out with Qin Feiyang, then the current Fengtian Palace would definitely be facing Qin Feiyang's anger. Fortunately, he had concerns and did not do so. Fortunately, he stopped the elders. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Lord, I really know my mistake. Please give me another chance. I promise that I will never make such a mistake again. Li Yuan's heart was burning with anxiety as he solemnly vowed. The palace master of Fengtian Palace glanced at Qin Feiyang, then lowered his head to look at Li Yuan and said, "Get up. After all, we have been together for so many years. How can I bear to kill you?" "Thank you, Lord." Li Yuan hurriedly thanked him. "What do you mean? You're not going to kill him?" Willow Tree raised his eyebrows. "Don't worry." Qin Feiyang secretly said, his eyes flickering. After Li Yuan got up, the palace master of Fengtian Palace asked, "Where is the 5-colored exquisite sword?" Li Yuan waved his hand and the five-colored exquisite sword shot out from his body. The palace master of Fengtian Palace grabbed it in his hands and killing intent surged in his eyes. The green light sword tore through the air and chopped off Li Yuan's head instantly. Fresh blood splattered, dyeing the void and desert red. Ugh! Willow Tree was stunned and mumbled, "So, you lied about not killing him because of the five-colored exquisite sword." The main reason was to let Li Yuan let down his guard. After all, Li Yuan is not weak. Coupled with the five-colored exquisite sword, if he resisted with all his might, he might cause some trouble. Qin Feiyang smiled. Willow Tree nodded and looked at the palace master of Fengtian Palace, teasing, "Palace master, we helped you uncover an ambitious person. Shouldn't you be thanking us? After so many years, I still haven't seen his true colors. It's truly shameful. However, I do have to thank you guys. Otherwise, I might really be plotted against by him in the future." The palace master of Fengtian Palace sighed. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and formed a seal with his hands. Seals of slavery appeared one after another and disappeared into the heads of Zhao Tailai and the others. After a while, the fake gods of the Vanga League were all controlled. The palace master of Fengtian Palace cupped his hands and smiled, "Congratulations, Brother Qin. You have gained another powerful subordinate." "Palace master, you don't mean it," Qin Feiyang said. "I only hope that Brother Qin will keep his word." The palace master of Fengtian Palace smiled bitterly. Indeed. He was also very opposed to Qin Feiyang subduing the Vanga League, but was there any use in objecting? It was better not to anger this person. "Don't worry. From this moment on, the Vanga League is disbanded. There is only one Palace Fengtian in the Black Tortoise world," Qin Feiyang said. The palace master of Fengtian Palace heard this and finally felt relieved. However, Ning Mingi and the others suddenly changed their expressions. Ning Mingi hurriedly said, "Qin Feiyang," Willow Tree shouted, "Do you think you can call the young master's name directly?" Ning Mingi shrunk his neck and hurriedly changed his words, "Young master, although we have submitted to you, you don't have to disband the Vanga League." Willow Tree said angrily, "Since you have followed the young master, of course you are his people. What's the point of keeping the Vanga League?" Ning Mingi said unwillingly, "You're right, but, no buts, your duty now is to be loyal to the young master unconditionally and listen to his orders. The young master's words are the imperial edict. Unless you want to die." Willow Tree shouted. The group suddenly lowered their heads and looked very disappointed. Qin Feiyang asked, "Do you regret following me?" The group was silent, but their expressions said it all. Qin Feiyang smiled confidently and said, "You have to look further. I have my reasons for disbanding the Vanga League. You will understand in the future and be grateful to me." The group did not think much of it. Seeing that the situation was settled, Yu Huang flew to Qin Feiyang with the senior executive and the others and asked, "Young Master Qin, how should we deal with these people?" Willow Tree waved his hand and said, "Just swallow them." "No." Ning Mingi and Zhao Tailai hurriedly cried out. "Young Master, Yang, Feng, and Meng, are all talented young people. Their futures are limitless. The senior executive and the second executive are also very strong. Keep them alive. They will definitely be of help to you in the future." "Yes. I only have one daughter. Please, spare her life, okay?" The two looked at Qin Feiyang and begged pitifully. "Father, we are not afraid of death. We won't beg him." Ning Yifeng and Zhao Tailai roared. "Yes. What's there to be afraid of death? 18 years later, you will be a hero again." Zhao Shimeng snorted coldly. Hearing the three's words, Ning Mingi and the others lowered their heads in shame. Qin Feiyang turned his head and looked at the three in surprise. Suddenly, his eyes turned and fell on Zhao Shimeng. He smiled and said, Willow Tree, go and take off her skirt. I want to see if she is a hero. How? Willow Tree was stunned. Of course, see if she has a handle. Don't all heroes have handles? Qin Feiyang said. Willow Tree's face twitched. How could such a beautiful woman have a handle? You rogue, shameless. Zhao Shimeng's face turned pale and she immediately roared. Zhao Tailai also hurriedly said, Young master, don't, my daughter is not married yet. If you strip her naked in front of everyone, how can she get married before? Qin Feiyang turned a deaf ear, looked at Zhao Shimeng, and laughed, Are you afraid? Then beg me. Kill me. Zhao Shimeng's face was red with anger as she said angrily. Still stubborn. Yu Huang, put her down. Willow Tree, go. Qin Feiyang said indifferently. All right. Yu Huang chuckled and released the snake's tongue. The few of them immediately fell into the void in a sorry state. Willow Tree immediately released his divine might, imprisoning the few of them, and then walked towards Zhao Shimeng step by step. No, Zhao Shimeng shook her head, her face ashen. Willow Tree said, Then beg young master. Zhao Shimeng still shook her head. Having a backbone is not necessarily a good thing sometimes. Willow Tree smiled mockingly, took a step forward, and grabbed Zhao Shimeng's clothes. Zhao Shimeng's beautiful face turned pale, looked at Qin Feiyang and screamed, No, I beg you, haha. Qin Feiyang laughed loudly, turned to Ning Mingi and the others, and said, Take the Spirit Sea pill immediately. Willow Tree also let go of Zhao Shimeng. Zhao Tailai finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fengtian Palace Master glanced at Qin Feiyang, and his eyes flashed. He looked at the second elder and the others and shouted, Set off immediately, chase after the people of the Heavenly Sun Empire. Yes. A group of fake gods immediately released their divine sense and chased in the direction of the Heavenly Sun Empire. Qin Feiyang looked at Fengtian Palace Master in surprise. Fengtian Palace Master said, Isn't the next step to eradicate the Heavenly Sun Empire? I didn't expect you to know me so well. It seems that I need to be friends with you. Qin Feiyang smiled. It's my pleasure. Chapter 1620. Tianyang Empire. Ning Mingi and the others were startled. That's right. Where are they? Didn't we agree to form an alliance? Why isn't there a single shadow of them? Zhao Tailai said angrily. Don't you understand? It's all thanks to them that we were able to catch up to you. Qin Feiyang said. What do you mean? Zhao Tailai frowned. Qin Feiyang said, Why did Mu Tianyang and Yan Shenho fight? The second deacon said, It's because Mu Qin offended me, and Yan Shenho taught him a lesson. Later on, Mu Tianyang couldn't stand it and helped Mu Qin. Speaking of which, the second deacon was startled. He looked at Qin Feiyang in shock, and said, You mean, they did it on purpose? That's right. Qin Feiyang nodded. Damn bastards, I won't forgive them. The second deacon was furious. He wants us to fight until both sides are injured, then come out and reap the benefits. However, they still underestimate me, Qin Feiyang. How could I give them this chance? Qin Feiyang sneered. Ning Mingi said angrily, Betrayal, we must find them and tear them into pieces. Qin Feiyang glanced at him, then used the slave seal to control Ningifeng and the others, then looked at Willow Tree and said, Give me the castle. Willow Tree waved his hand, and the castle flew out from between his eyebrows. Qin Feiyang looked at Ning Mingi and the others, and said, You guys go to the castle to repair your Qi Si first. Willow Tree, you also go in and rest for a while. Willow Tree nodded. After Qin Feiyang sent the group to the ancient castle, the palace master of Fengtian Palace brought Qin Feiyang and Yu Huang to chase after the second elders group. After flying for some distance, Palace Master Fengtian suddenly sent a voice transmission. Brother Qin, can you honestly answer me a question? What is it? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace said, you kept Ning Mingyi and the others, is it really just because of their strength? What do you think? Using them to deal with Feng Tian Palace? And then unify the Black Tortoise world? Qin Feiyang asked. The palace master of Feng Tian Palace was silent for a while before he smiled and said, let's not beat around the bush. It's not impossible, right? You worry too much. I have no interest in unifying the Black Tortoise world. Because I don't need power. If I could choose, I would rather use my cultivation in exchange for an ordinary life. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace was stunned. Do you know? I envy those ordinary people who live in the countryside. Although they have to work hard to make a living, no one will restrain them. They don't have to scheme against each other all day, living in slaughter and freedom. Qin Feiyang said. The more Palace Master Feng Tian Palace heard, the more surprised he was. This kid's age wasn't too old. Why did he look like he had experienced the vicissitudes of life? Looking at this kid, he was also a person with a story. And this story wasn't something ordinary people could bear. So don't worry, I won't leave anything behind in the Black Tortoise world, and I won't stay here forever. After destroying the Heavenly Sun Empire, I will leave immediately. Qin Feiyang said. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace heaved a sigh of relief. Whoosh! Half an hour later. A black-robed old man flew through the air like lightning. He was one of the 10 great elders of Feng Tian Palace. How is it? Did you find them? Palace Master Feng Tian Palace asked. No. We have spread out and searched tens of thousands of miles ahead, but we didn't find the Heavenly Sun Empire's spatial divine item. The black-robed old man said. Brat Qin, it won't be easy to find them now. They know that you have subdued the Vanga League. They will definitely hide in the spatial divine item and go deep into the desert. The most important thing is Mu Qing's omniscient eye. The omniscient eye can spy on everyone's location. They can definitely avoid us in advance. Yu Huang said. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace looked at Qin Feiyang and said, as Yu Huang said, if they want to hide, it will be a problem. Qin Feiyang stopped and stood in the air above the desert. He lowered his head and pondered. Yu Huang, Palace Master Feng Tian Palace, and the black-robed old man also stopped and waited for Qin Feiyang. A moment later. Qin Feiyang suddenly took out the image crystal, looked up at Palace Master Feng Tian Palace, and asked, can I send messages here? Palace Master Feng Tian Palace nodded and said, you can send messages in the forbidden areas, but you can't open the portal. Qin Feiyang activated the image crystal. Soon. An illusory figure appeared. If it wasn't Mu Qing, who else could it be? When Mu Qing saw that it was Qin Feiyang, his expression was rather astonished. Soon after, he smiled playfully and said, are you at a loss right now? Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. So straightforward. I thought you were going to deny it. Mu Qing was stunned. Is it necessary? Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile. It's really not necessary. Then why are you sending me a message now? Don't tell me you want us to take the initiative to come to you and let you kill us. Mu Qing joked. That's what I meant. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. What? Mu Qing was taken aback. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace, Yu Huang, and the black-clothed old man were also stunned. What was this guy thinking? How could the people of the Tianyang Empire take the initiative to die? They weren't idiots. Huh, are you joking? Or is there something wrong with your brain? Mu Qing came back to his senses and immediately sneered. Qin Feiyang said, don't be in a hurry to laugh. Then tell me. Mu Qing crossed his arms and looked at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang said, I believe you and Mu Tianyang already know that we can only stay here for half a year at most. Yes. I've heard about this before. Is there a problem? Mu Qin said. Qin Feiyang asked, then are you leaving? Nonsense, of course we're leaving. Mu Qin frowned. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, since you're leaving, then you have to take the initiative to come to me. What do you mean? What does our leaving have to do with us coming to find you? Mu Qin looked puzzled. Qin Feiyang said, the Black Tortoise Realm only has one exit. If I let people block the exit, do you think you can still leave? So that's how it is. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace suddenly understood. He looked at Qin Feiyang and said with a smile, my Feng Tian Palace is willing to help with this matter. Mu Qin's expression stiffened. He glared at Qin Feiyang and shouted, you're despicable. You set up a trap to trap the Vanga League. Isn't that despicable? So don't talk about me, everyone is the same. I'll go to the River of Corrosion in Peach Blossom City now. I'll wait for you at the bridge. I hope you won't make me wait too long. Also, not only you and Mu Tianyang, but also everyone from the Heavenly Sun Empire. After Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he turned off the image crystal. Yu Huang grinned and said, Boy Qin, that's a good idea. As long as we block the Devil's Land, they can only come to beg you. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and looked at Palace Master Feng Tian Palace. Call all your people back. We'll ambush them at the entrance of the Undead Mountain Range. Okay. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace nodded. Suddenly, he was stunned and hurriedly said, wait, didn't you say to go to the River of Corrosion? Why did it become an ambush at the entrance of the Undead Mountain Range? I only said that the people of the Heavenly Sun Empire heard it. The Heavenly Sun Empire definitely won't go to their deaths because of Mu Qin and Mu Tianyang. They might even fall out. But they can't stay in the desert forever. When they know that I'm going to the River of Corrosion, they will definitely choose to leave the desert. And there won't be any protection. We can seize this opportunity to catch them all in one fell swoop. Qin Feiyang said. You mean to say that going to the River of Corrosion is just a pretense to lure them out of the desert? Palace Master Feng Tian Palace asked. That's right. Qin Feiyang nodded. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace and the black-robed old man looked at each other and couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. Who was the one who said that this kid was brainless? Stop right there and promise not to beat him to death. Qin Feiyang continued, of course, given Mu Qin and Mu Tianyang's cautious personalities, they will definitely send me another message before leaving the desert to confirm whether or not we are at the River of Corrosion. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace asked, then what are your arrangements? Very good. Give the spatial divine item to your wife or someone else. Have them lie in ambush at the entrance to the departed Soul Mountain Range while you come with me to the River of Corrosion. When Mu Tianyang sees that we are at the River of Corrosion, he will not think that there is an ambush at the entrance to the departed Soul Mountain Range. Because he will think that the others are in our spatial divine item. Qin Feiyang said. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace was taken aback. What if he tells us to call the others out? Do we have to call them out just because he says so? Give him that much face? Qin Feiyang sneered. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace nodded and glanced at the black-robed old man. When Li Yuan captured him, it was fortunate that I didn't turn hostile with him. That's right. Although this kid's cultivation is still shallow, his mind is truly frightening. It can be described as watertight. If we can't get rid of such a person, we can only become friends. It's truly hard to imagine what he went through in the past. How did he train such a frightening mind and mind? The black-robed old man thought. This kind of mind was not something that a young person should have. No matter what he went through in the past, one thing is for sure, the Heavenly Sun Empire will be destroyed by him. The palace master of the imperial conferring palace smiled. This is a good thing for us. The Vanga League has already disbanded and the main tower has been destroyed. When he destroys the Heavenly Sun Empire, only the Nether Hall will be left. A mere Nether Hall will not dare to act rashly in front of us. The black-robed old man smiled. That's right. Although the Grand Elder died in his hands and the 9-palace sword array was taken by him, it was all worth it. Palace Master Feng Tian Palace thought. The two of them smiled at each other and took out an image crystal to send a message to the rest of the Palace Master Feng Tian Palace to evacuate. In less than 100 breaths, everyone rushed over to meet up. Everyone was confused when they heard that they were going to evacuate. However, when Palace Master Feng Tian Palace told them about Qin Feiyang's plan, they were sincerely impressed by Qin Feiyang's mind. They were happy to do so. Chapter 1621. Deep in the desert. The wind howled, and sand filled the sky. Inside the spatial divine item, in a hall, Mu Tianyang and Yen Shenhou sat opposite each other. Mu Qing stood respectfully beside Mu Tianyang. The three of them were silent, and the atmosphere was very heavy. A moment later, Yen Shenhou said, "No matter what, we will not accompany you to die." Mu Tianyang said angrily, "If you don't go, how can Mu Qing and I leave the Black Tortoise world?" "That's your business." Yen Shenhou said. "Bastard! Do you want us to be like you and be trapped here for the rest of our lives?" Mu Tianyang said angrily. "Did someone force you to enter the Black Tortoise world? You ran in yourself, who's to blame? The Heavenly Sun Empire outside has already been destroyed by your hands, what else do you want? Do you know how much effort we spent in the Black Tortoise world to create the Heavenly Sun Empire today? How much effort did we spend to cultivate so many false gods? Do you think these are all blown by the wind? Do you have to destroy our Heavenly Sun Empire before you're satisfied?" Yen Shenhou said angrily. "Humph. So what if there are many false gods? They're just a bunch of trash, including you. When this emperor recovers to his peak state, with just this emperor's strength alone, I will be able to create an unprecedented and prosperous country." Mu Tianyang sneered, his tone was full of disdain. "Fine, fine, fine. You're amazing. We can't afford to offend you. Go, get out of the Black Tortoise world and create your own prosperous country." Yen Shenhou was so angry that he laughed, almost going crazy. Mu Tianyang said, "You have to go because this is Qin Feiyang's request." "Why?" Yen Shenhou roared. "Because this emperor is the first war god in the history of the Heavenly Sun Empire." Mu Tianyang said proudly. "Is a war god that great? Aren't you the same now, being chased by Qin Feiyang, a war emperor? Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you afraid of being laughed at? War god. The way I see it, you're even worse than a piece of trash." Yen Shenhou raged. Boom! A surge of divine power rushed out from Mu Tianyang's body. Not to be outdone, Yen Shenhou unleashed his false god force. Mu Qing raised his eyebrows, looked at Yen Shenhou, and said in a deep voice, "It's best to be polite to the master. You have the right to speak here." "Shut up." Yen Shenhou was furious to the extreme, he slapped Mu Qing's face, a blood-red palm print immediately appeared. Mu Tianyang flew into a rage, he raised his big hand and slapped Yen Shenhou. "You really don't know what's good for you." Yen Shenhou's eyes turned cold as his false god force surged towards Mu Tianyang like a tidal wave. "Stop." At this moment, a firm, imperious voice suddenly appeared. Following closely, a middle-aged man wearing a dragon crown and a dragon robe appeared out of thin air beside the three of them. "Greetings, Emperor." Yen Shenhou's body trembled and immediately bowed to the middle-aged man. Obviously, this was the Emperor of the Black Tortoise world's Heavenly Sun Empire. However, facing this emperor, Mu Tianyang and Mu Qing did not have the slightest respect. The middle-aged man glanced at Mu Qing, then looked at Mu Tianyang and said expressionlessly, "We can't help you with this matter. You can think of a way yourself." Mu Tianyang suddenly stood up, clenched his fists, and stared at the middle-aged man. "Also, you have to understand that this is the Black Tortoise world, not the outside world. Here, this emperor has the final say. If you want to take power from this emperor, then show me your ability," the middle-aged man said. Mu Tianyang's face sank as he said word by word, "You will regret your decision today." "Is that so? This emperor will wait and see. As for now, you should think about how to escape Qin Feiyang's calamity." After the middle-aged man finished speaking, he waved his hand, and Mu Tianyang and Mu Qing immediately appeared in the sky above the desert outside. "Bastard!" Mu Tianyang was furious. Mu Qing's face was also full of anger, and said, "Originally, I thought that these people should be able to help us, but I didn't expect that they would not put us in their eyes at all. If I was still at my peak, would they dare to treat me like this? They can't even wait to curry favor with me. In the end, it's still strength. With enough strength, no matter where you are, you will be respected. Without strength, even if you are a clansman, you will not be reliable." Mu Tianyang coldly snorted. Mu Qing nodded and comforted, "There is always a way, we will definitely think of a way. Master, don't be too angry. I will remember the humiliation they gave me today. Immediately check the whereabouts of Qin Feiyang and see if he really went to the river of bone erosion," Mu Tianyang said. Mu Qing immediately opened her all-seeing eye. After a while, Mu Qing nodded and said, "He is indeed evacuating. Then let's hurry up and try to get in front of him and enter the Devil's Land," Mu Tianyang said in a deep voice, and then took Mu Qing and flew away like lightning. Inside the space divine item. Looking at the two disappearing figures, Yan Shenho frowned and looked at the middle-aged man, and said, "Emperor, what should we do? Since Qin Feiyang and the others have already evacuated, then let's go and see if there is a chance to save Mu Shinkong." The middle-aged man said, killing intent flashing in his eyes, and then he controlled the space divine item and followed behind Mu Tianyang and flew outside. Time flew. Finally, Qin Feiyang and a group of people left the desert and appeared in the sky above the undead mountain range. "You damn monsters, let go of me." Far away, they had already heard Zhuge Mingyang's roar. Still struggling. Willow Tree was surprised. A group of people flew over. Thousands of cedars were still gathered together, forming an iron bucket-like prison, tightly trapping Zhuge Mingyang. Qin Feiyang joked, "We all went to fight the Vangu League, and you are still here." Qin Feiyang. Zhuge Mingyang was stunned, and quickly looked up at Qin Feiyang and shouted, "Brother Qin, we are friends, help me." "Friend? I can't afford to be friends with you. I won't disturb you, you can continue," Qin Feiyang said. "Where are you going?" Zhuge Mingyang roared. "The river of bone erosion." After Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he left with a group of people without looking back. "Qin Feiyang, you bastard, I will not let you go." Zhuge Mingyang roared in anger, shaking the mountains and rivers. After a while, a group of people flew out of the undead mountain range and stood above the entrance. Qin Feiyang looked at the palace master of Fengtian Palace and said, "Arrange it quickly." The palace master of Fengtian Palace nodded, waved his hand, and a woman appeared. It was his wife, the vice palace master of Fengtian Palace. "Greetings, Brother Qin." The woman bowed. After this period of cultivation, her sea of qi had also been repaired. "Senior, you are too polite." Qin Feiyang smiled. The palace master of Fengtian Palace waved his hand again, and a palm-sized ancient city flew out from between his eyebrows and flew in front of the woman. He said, Madam, I will leave this space divine item to you. When the people of the Tianyang Empire come, you must be careful. I know. The woman nodded, grabbed the ancient city, and led the second elders group into the ancient city. Qin Feiyang also immediately opened the teleportation gate to the river of bone erosion. The next moment, Qin Feiyang, the palace master of Fengtian Palace, and Yu Huang descended on the riverbank of the river of bone erosion. Qin Feiyang stood at the bridge, looking at Peach Blossom City. The originally bustling Peach Blossom City had not only turned into nothingness, but there was also not a single shadow. It was dead silent. Peach Blossom City, which has existed for so many years, turned into ruins just like that. What a pity. The palace master of Fengtian Palace sighed deeply, turned to Qin Feiyang, and asked, Brother Qin, do you know who did this? Qin Feiyang said, who else could it be besides Zhuge Mingyang? It's him. The palace master of Fengtian Palace was shocked. Qin Feiyang withdrew his gaze, turned to the river of bone erosion, and said, can this river of bone erosion really kill a false god? Of course. The palace master of Fengtian Palace nodded, very certain. Qin Feiyang frowned, then why didn't Zhuge Mingyang die after falling in? What kind of demonic art is he cultivating now? Bewilderment could be seen in Yu Huang's eyes as she stared at the pitch-black bone erosion river. Young master, quickly come to the castle. Suddenly, Willow Tree's voice sounded in Qin Feiyang's mind. Qin Feiyang was startled. He looked at Yu Huang and the palace master of Fengtian Palace, and said, you guys wait here first, I will go to the castle. Shua. Qin Feiyang had already disappeared without waiting for the man and the beast to react. Inside the castle. The moment Qin Feiyang entered, he saw Ling Yunfei and Willow Tree, as well as the 6 great elders standing together. Willow Tree was holding on to a scarlet broadsword tightly, and a group of people were glaring angrily at Ning Mingi and the others. This blade was the Phoenix Divine Blade that he had obtained from Ning Mingi. At that time, because he wanted to subdue Ning Mingi and the others, he placed the Divine Phoenix Blade in the castle. What is it? Qin Feiyang looked at Willow Tree and Ling Yunfei and asked. Willow Tree said angrily, as soon as this person's Sea of Qi recovered, he wanted to take back the Phoenix Divine Blade. I did not agree, and he was even prepared to attack me. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. Ning Mingi anxiously looked at Qin Feiyang, and pleaded, young master, this Phoenix Divine Blade was passed down from the previous alliance masters, I cannot lose it. Young master, on account of us having already submitted to you, can you return it to me? What a joke. Right now, your little lives belong to the young master, not to mention the divine artifact. Willow Tree snorted. Ning Mingi angrily glared at Willow Tree, then looked at Qin Feiyang and begged, young master, I beg you. Qin Feiyang said, it's impossible for me to give you this divine artifact now. What? As soon as Ning Mingi heard this, he immediately collapsed powerlessly. Of course. If you perform well in the future, it's a different story. Qin Feiyang said again. Ning Mingi immediately became spirited, and he looked at Qin Feiyang and said solemnly, young master, don't worry, I will perform well. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and said, tell me about your current foundation, how many false gods do you have left? How many divine artifacts do you have? Including my son Fengyang, there are a total of 52 false gods. Apart from the Phoenix Divine Blade, there are 10 divine artifacts in the hands of the 9 great deacons and Zhao Tailai. Ning Mingi said. That many? Qin Feiyang was surprised. 52 false gods, plus the 6 great elders, Yu Huang, and Willow Tree, didn't this mean that he now had 60 false gods by his side? This was really a great harvest. Qin Feiyang smiled, hand over all the divine artifacts. This. Chapter 1622. Willow Tree smiled proudly and shouted, "Didn't you hear? Hurry up, or we'll use force." Ning Mingi sighed helplessly, looked at Zhao Tai and the others, and said, "Leave it to him." "Leader!" Zhao Tai shouted. Qin Feiyang said, "I'll say it again, there is no Vanga League now, let alone a leader." "Yes." Zhao Tai hurriedly bowed and responded. "Hurry up," Qin Feiyang urged. Zhao Tai clenched his fists, finally gritted his teeth, took out the dark demon blade, and handed it to Willow Tree. The 9 deacons also took out their respective artifacts one after another. There were swords, spears, sticks, and everything. Willow Tree happily took all the artifacts and then handed them to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and said, "Give them all to Lu Hong later. If you need them in the future, ask her for them." "Okay." Willow Tree nodded. In addition, Qin Feiyang looked at Ning Mingi again and said, "Later, give all the herbs of your Vanga League to Dan Wangkai." Dan Wangkai? Ning Mingi was stunned. Qin Feiyang said, "He's in charge of alchemy. If you need any elixirs in the future, look for him." "Yes." Ning Mingi nodded. He remembered the 2 names Lu Hong and Dan Wangkai in his heart. Because one was in charge of artifacts, the other was in charge of herbs. There was no suspense. These 2 people must be deeply trusted by the young master. He had to curry favor with them in the future. Qin Feiyang suddenly thought of something, looked at Ning Mingi and asked, "By the way, do you have any extra divine arts?" "Divine arts?" Ning Mingi was stunned, shook his head and said, "No, divine arts are as rare as artifacts. Half of us don't have any divine arts yet." "Really?" Qin Feiyang said. Ning Mingi forced a smile and said, "How would I dare to lie to you now?" Qin Feiyang said, "Give your Qinkuan bags to Dan Wangkai later. In the future, all the resources will be distributed uniformly." "Yes." Ning Mingi nodded. The group of people felt extremely bitter. The divine artifact was gone. The herbs were gone. Now, even his Qinkuan bag was gone. He was truly in a sorry state. Be content with what you have. At least for now, you're all alive. Furthermore, you're all able to leave the Black Tortoise realm. Qin Feiyang said lightly. "Yeah. At least he's still alive." The group of people nodded and smiled bitterly. But suddenly, everyone was stunned. They raised their heads and looked at Qin Feiyang. Ning Mingi's breathing quickened as he said, "Young master, what did you just say? Can you repeat that?" Willow Tree also looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise. When the mysterious man appeared, he happened to be in Tianyang City, so he did not know. "Leave the Black Tortoise realm," Qin Feiyang said. "Leave the Black Tortoise realm?" Ning Mingi was stunned. He turned to Zhao Tai and asked, "Am I hallucinating?" "No. We heard it too," Zhao Tai said. Swish. Then the group of people looked at Qin Feiyang again with unconcealable excitement and asked, "Young master, is what you said true?" Willow Tree was the same. He looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "Can we really leave the Black Tortoise realm?" "Yes." Qin Feiyang nodded to Willow Tree, then looked at Ning Mingi and the others and said, "This is why I disbanded the Vanga League." "How is this possible?" "Since ancient times, countless people have tried to leave the Black Tortoise realm, but no one has succeeded." "How did you do it?" Ning Mingi said. "To leave the Black Tortoise realm, the first thing to do is to break the Devil Mark. And I already have a way to break the Devil Mark. After the Tianyang Empire is dealt with, I will make the arrangements. You can't tell anyone about this," Qin Feiyang warned. "Yes, yes, yes." The group of people nodded repeatedly. Willow Tree looked at Qin Feiyang and stammered, "Young master, don't worry. If the method really works, I will be the first to help you break the devil mark. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Thank you, young master. Willow Tree's face was filled with ecstasy, and his eyes were filled with gratitude. That's enough. Quickly rest up. There's still a tough battle to come. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Yes. The group of people replied respectfully. Qin Feiyang smiled and looked at Willow Tree. Give me the divine phoenix blade. Willow Tree immediately handed it over with both hands. Qin Feiyang grabbed the divine phoenix blade and left the castle, appearing at the bridge. When the palace master of Fengtian Palace saw the divine phoenix blade, his eyes lit up and he said, Brother Qin, this divine weapon is not simple. Qin Feiyang rubbed the divine phoenix blade and said with a smile, I heard that this divine phoenix blade can automatically protect its owner. I think its grade shouldn't be low. Of course not. Because this divine phoenix blade is the same as my azure light sword, it has already given birth to an artifact spirit. Only a divine weapon with an artifact spirit will automatically protect its owner. The palace master of Fengtian Palace said. Artifact spirit? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Yes. However, whether it is the divine phoenix blade or the azure light sword, the artifact spirit's consciousness is very weak, like a newborn baby. The palace master of Fengtian Palace said. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up and he said, Does that mean my Chang Shui and the castle have already given birth to artifact spirits? Of course. Otherwise, how could they be so strong? The palace master of Fengtian Palace said with certainty. Then why can't I feel the artifact spirit's existence? Qin Feiyang asked. I don't know. Maybe they don't want you to know. Or maybe they are sealed by something. The palace master of Fengtian Palace shook his head. Sealed? Qin Feiyang was stunned. There seemed to be a seal in the castle. Qin Feiyang looked down at the divine phoenix blade and said suspiciously, That's strange. When the willow tree destroyed Ning Mingyi's Qi, why didn't it protect its owner? I was also puzzled at first. But after thinking about it carefully, I think it might have something to do with Chang Shui. Although the artifact spirit will protect its owner, it can also sense danger. So, according to my speculation, Chang Shui must have scared it, so it didn't awaken and help Ning Mingyi. The palace master of Fengtian Palace said. Qin Feiyang nodded and asked suspiciously, Then how do I communicate with the artifact spirit? The palace master of Fengtian Palace said, After you drip your blood on it, you will be able to sense the artifact spirit's existence, but you won't be able to communicate with it because its consciousness is still very weak. Qin Feiyang immediately cut his finger and dripped a drop of purple gold dragon blood on the blade. Buzz! The divine phoenix blade immediately shook and flew out of his hand, floating in front of Qin Feiyang, emitting a blurry purple gold divine light. After the recognition was successful, the purple gold divine light quickly faded away. Then, the divine phoenix blade started to dance around Qin Feiyang. At first glance, it looked like a happy and excited child. What's going on? It actually seemed to like you a lot. The palace master of Fengtian Palace was stunned. It likes me? Qin Feiyang was startled, he closed his eyes and calmed his mind. Soon. Inside the divine phoenix blade, he could sense a weak fluctuation of emotions. There was indeed a hint of joy in this emotion. I understand. It must be because of your purple gold dragon blood. The palace master of Fengtian Palace suddenly said. What do you mean? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Artifact spirits need to be nurtured with bloodline power and divine power. The better the bloodline power and divine power, the more helpful it is for their growth. Your purple gold dragon blood is the bloodline power of the divine dragon. It is extremely noble, any artifact spirit would like it. The palace master of Fengtian Palace laughed. I see. Qin Feiyang nodded, looked at the divine phoenix blade, and said with a smile, you can stay in my chi ocean from now on. Whoosh! Before he finished speaking, the divine phoenix blade turned into a ray of light and directly entered Qin Feiyang's chi ocean, floating in it. Qin Feiyang looked inside his chi ocean and looked at the divine phoenix blade. Suddenly, a wisp of fiery red sword chi flew out from the divine phoenix blade and happily flew around Qin Feiyang's chi ocean. The fluctuation of emotions was even more obvious. This is the artifact spirit. Qin Feiyang was startled. Originally, he thought that it might be a porcelain doll-like child, but he didn't expect it to be a wisp of sword chi. But not long later, the sword chi suddenly changed again. Very quickly, a blurry little person actually appeared in front of Qin Feiyang's line of sight. This little person was only the size of a pinky finger. It did not have a body of flesh and blood, nor did it have a face. It only had an outline. It can even change shape. Qin Feiyang was surprised. He tried to communicate with the little person, but the little person did not respond to him and kept jumping around happily in his chi ocean. Sometimes it turned into sword chi. Sometimes it turned into a human form. It gave people the feeling that it was a child who had finally found a playground that it liked. However, the artifact spirit still did not dare to approach Chang Shui. Chang Shui was also in Qin Feiyang's chi ocean. The artifact spirit seemed to be a little afraid. Chang Shui, you can't bully our new friend. Qin Feiyang observed for a moment and said to Chang Shui with a smile. Then, his mind withdrew from the chi ocean and looked at the palace master of Fengtian Palace with a smile. It really likes me. The palace master of Fengtian Palace looked a little envious. Why don't you give me the azure light sword, and I'll help you nourish it with the purple gold dragon blood and purple gold dragon chi. Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes and teased. When the palace master of Fengtian Palace heard this, he immediately pushed away and kept a distance of 5 or 6 meters from Qin Feiyang. He said vigilantly, don't even think about it. If he gave it to this guy, it would be like throwing a meat bun at a dog. He was not that stupid. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, I'm just joking. Don't get too excited. Do I look like I'm excited? I'm obviously nervous. The palace master of Fengtian Palace rolled his eyes. Qin Feiyang shook his head and said with a smile, by the way, can all artifacts give birth to artifact spirits? How is that possible? You have to know that artifacts that give birth to artifact spirits will constantly evolve as the artifact spirits grow. In other words, this artifact spirit will become stronger and stronger. If artifacts can be born, then wouldn't the world be in chaos? Whether it's artifact spirits or something else, such as tree spirits, flower spirits, and so on, they all have to go through some special processes and factors to be born. Let me put it this way. It's lucky if one artifact spirit can be born in 100,000 artifacts. The palace master of Fengtian Palace said. I see. I originally thought that even if artifacts give birth to artifact spirits, they won't grow. I even thought that artifact spirits are innate. But in the end, that's not the case. I have to say, in the path of cultivation, there's always a higher mountain. If you don't step into a certain realm, you'll never know what's above it. Qin Feiyang said with emotion. There are also people who can refine artifacts with innate artifact spirits. But in this world, I'm afraid you won't find such a person. But there's one thing that I agree with. Every time we step into a new realm, we will learn some new things and knowledge. This is the wonder of cultivation. It's never too old to learn. The palace master of Fengtian Palace smiled. Chapter 1623. The palace master of Fengtian Palace took a deep look at Qin Feiyang. He was getting more and more curious. What exactly happened to Qin Feiyang? Why was he so indifferent to fame and fortune at such a young age? Buzz. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang's image crystal rang. Is it Mu Qing? The palace master of Fengtian Palace was taken aback and asked. Qin Feiyang said, most likely, it should be him. After saying that, he took out the image crystal. An illusionary figure swiftly appeared. Who else could it be but Mu Qing? Why are you still in the desert? Qin Feiyang frowned. Because the scene behind Mu Qing was the desert. From this, it could be seen. They had not left the desert yet. Mu Tianyang appeared beside Mu Qing and looked at Qin Feiyang. Is there no room for negotiation? Obviously. Mu Qing had already known through the heavenly eye that Qin Feiyang had arrived at the river of erosion. Originally, they wanted to enter the devil's land before Qin Feiyang. But now, it was obviously impossible. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and nodded, yes, but I don't know if you can do it. Say it. Mu Tianyang said. Let's join forces to destroy the Tianyang Empire. As for the grudges between us, we can wait until we leave the Black Tortoise realm and slowly settle it. Qin Feiyang said. Join forces with you to destroy our Tianyang Empire? Do you think we are idiots? How could we do such a stupid thing? Mu Qing said angrily. Don't say it so righteously. I think those people in the Tianyang Empire don't treat you very well, and even reject you. Qin Feiyang said. Mu Qing's eyes darkened. It seems that it is as I expected. Actually, thinking about it, although they are your clansmen, they have already created a brand new Tianyang Empire in the Black Tortoise realm. If they can leave the Black Tortoise realm, it will be a different story. But they can't leave. Thus, they simply do not care about the life and death of you two clansmen. After Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he looked at Mu Tianyang and said, even though you used to be the war god. Mu Tianyang sighed and nodded. You're right. I've had enough of these people. For you to say that, it means that they have bullied you a lot. You are Mu Tianyang, a war god, yet you are being bullied by a bunch of clowns. Even I feel bad for you. Qin Feiyang sighed. Don't be so fake. Don't you want to get rid of the Heavenly Sun Empire first before getting rid of me and the Lord? Mu Qing's face was full of disdain. Why don't you believe me? I know my limits. It's not that easy to kill the two of you. My initial plan was only to get rid of the Heavenly Sun Empire here. Qin Feiyang said helplessly. It's pointless to say more. Mu Qing snorted and immediately turned off the image crystal. The two of them were indeed standing in the air above the desert. In front of them was the undead mountain range. Mu Qing kept the image crystal and looked at Mu Tianyang. Lord, what should we do now? Mu Tianyang shook his head. For a moment, there was nothing he could do. You can't go any further. Suddenly, a majestic voice sounded out of thin air. Who is it? The two of them were shocked and quickly scanned their surroundings. But there was not a single shadow around. Is it an illusion? The two of them looked at each other. However, just as they retracted their gaze, they suddenly looked at the void on their left. There was a giant python floating there. You are, Mu Tianyang's eyes widened in anger. Mu Qing was also shocked. Greetings, Lord Guardian. The next moment, the two of them bowed in unison. The giant python looked at the two of them and sneered, you have a good memory. You actually still remember me. Senior's power, I dare not forget. Mu Qing said. The giant python had appeared when Qin Feiyang and Mu Tianyang were fighting. Of course, he knew. Mu Tianyang looked up at the giant python and asked suspiciously, Lord, you just said that we can't go any further. Why is that? Wait a minute. The giant python glanced at the void of the desert behind them and said coldly, I don't like being spied on. Get out immediately. Mu Mu Tianyang and Mu Qing turned their heads and looked over in surprise. Before his voice faded, a middle-aged man appeared and hurriedly ran to the front of the giant python. He respectfully prostrated himself in the void and said, "Greetings, Lord Guardian." "It's him." Mu Tianyang raised his eyebrows. This person was the emperor who had expelled him and Mu Qing previously. He actually followed them. At this moment, in front of the guardian, this emperor's previous domineering, majestic aura had disappeared. He was like a pitiful dog wagging its tail. Mu Tianyang's eyes were full of disdain. He looked at Mu Qing and said, "Why don't you use the omniscient eye to track his whereabouts? My attention is all on Qin Feiyang. I don't have the mood to care about him." Mu Qing smiled bitterly. "Get up," the giant python said. "Yes." The middle-aged man got up and stood aside respectfully. The giant python glanced at Mu Tianyang and Mu Qing and said, "I don't want you to continue because there's an ambush ahead." "Ambush? Who's ambushing?" "Qin Feiyang." "But isn't Qin Feiyang in the river of bone erosion now?" Mu Qing was surprised. "It's Qin Feiyang. He and the palace master of the celestial palace did go to the river of bone erosion, but the others of the celestial palace stayed at the entrance. Once you go there, you'll definitely die," the giant python said. "What?" Mu Tianyang and the other two's expressions changed. The middle-aged man glared at Mu Qing and said, "Don't you have the omniscient eye? Why don't you check their whereabouts?" "Nonsense. If I want to check, I'll check on the two main figures, Qin Feiyang and the palace master of the celestial palace. Why should I check on the others? Is there something wrong with your brain? If you're so arrogant, why don't I see you being arrogant in front of Qin Feiyang? If you have the guts, go ahead," Mu Qing said angrily. The middle-aged man was so angry that his body trembled violently. "Well said." Mu Tianyang laughed secretly. The giant python looked at the three and said angrily, "Shut up." Mu Qing looked coldly at the middle-aged man in her eyes, then looked at the giant python and asked in confusion, "Senior, may I ask why you want to help us?" The giant python snorted and said, "Of course it's to deal with Qin Feiyang." "What? Senior also has a grudge with Qin Feiyang?" Mu Qing was surprised. "Yes." The giant python nodded. "That's not right. With Senior's strength, it's not easy to kill Qin Feiyang. Why do you need our help?" Mu Qing said suspiciously. As soon as the giant python heard this, it immediately remembered the scene that happened in front of the entrance, and its eyes were full of hostility. "Mu Qing, it's very strong. Back then, Qin Batian wanted to force his way from the second floor to the first floor because of a woman, and he was almost killed by it. So don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Just do as you're told." Mu Tianyang said secretly. "What? You saw him back then?" Mu Qing's expression changed. "Yes." Mu Tianyang nodded. Mu Qing's heart skipped a beat, and she hurriedly said, "Senior, what do you want us to do? Please tell us." The giant python looked at Mu Qing and said, "You're quite interesting. You're as bold as Qin Feiyang. Senior, please forgive me." Mu Qing hurriedly said, thinking that the giant python was angry. "I just praised you, and now you immediately show a cowardly and incompetent look. It seems that there is still a gap between you and Qin Feiyang. But there's one thing that you're better than Qin Feiyang," the giant python said. "Senior, please tell me." Mu Qing said. "You're more sensible than him. I like young people like you." The giant python laughed. Senior's words have truly shocked this junior. Mu Qing said. "Do you want to live?" The giant python looked at the three of them and said. The three of them nodded at the same time. "Okay. I'll take you to a place later." Even if Qin Feiyang has the ability to reach the heavens, he won't be able to find you. The giant python said confidently. Thank you, my lord. Thank you, senior. The three of them hurriedly thanked it. The giant python glanced at the undead mountain range, and a rule force suddenly fell from the sky and blasted toward a mountain in the distance. The target was the cedar trees that surrounded Zhuge Mingyang. As soon as they sensed the rule force, those cedar trees immediately scattered. What's the situation? Zhuge Mingyang was stunned. Hurry up and come over here. The giant python shouted. This is, Zhuge Mingyang's eyes trembled, and he hurriedly flew toward the giant python. What happened just now? Why did the rule force descend? At the same time, the woman hiding in the space divine object looked at the undead mountain range in surprise. The second elder and the others behind her were also horrified. Suddenly, the black-robed old man's eyes trembled. He looked at the woman and said cautiously, Madam, could it be that the guardian has descended? Guardian. The woman's body trembled and nodded, it must be it because only it can control the rule force. Quickly inform Qin Feiyang and the others. The black-robed old man immediately took out an image crystal and sent a message to the palace master of Fengtian Palace. What? The guardian has appeared? When he heard the news, the palace master of Fengtian Palace was also shocked. But Qin Feiyang, who was at the side, had a trace of hostility in his eyes. This damned beast was really like a lingering spirit that refused to disperse. He looked at the black-robed old man and asked, Is Mu Tianyang and the others with it? I don't know. We don't dare to go out now. The black-robed old man shook his head. Qin Feiyang's face sank. He immediately opened the portal and descended at the entrance, then rushed toward the desert like lightning. Yu Huang also chased after him. Brother Qin, don't go. The palace master of Fengtian Palace followed and hurriedly shouted. The woman also appeared from the space divine object. She looked in the direction of the desert with a face full of horror. The guardian actually appeared. Why was that? Soon, Qin Feiyang rushed to the sky above the cedar forest. Seeing that Zhuge Mingyang had disappeared, he was furious. Seeing that Qin Feiyang was about to continue to rush over, Yu Huang hurriedly stretched out his tail and pulled Qin Feiyang, shouting, Brat Qin, bear with it for a while. Now you don't have the blood chi pearl, so you can't provoke it. The plan was about to succeed, but it completely disrupted it. How can I bear it? Qin Feiyang said angrily. Brother Qin, it is the guardian, the master of this miracle, the sky here. You can't beat it, forget it. The palace master of Fengtian Palace also flew over and persuaded. That's right. You are an ant, I am the sky. You are an ant, how can you beat me, the sky? Before the palace master of Fengtian Palace finished speaking, the giant python's voice sounded in the sky. Then, the giant python brought Zhuge Mingyang, Mu Tianyang, Mu Qing, and the middle-aged man to the void above. Chapter 1624. Greetings, Lord Guardian. The palace master of Fengtian Palace quickly knelt in the air and greeted respectfully. Fengtian Palace is quite bold. How dare you collude with Qin Feiyang? The giant python said coldly. The palace master of Fengtian Palace turned pale when he heard that. He hurriedly said, I know my mistake. Please forgive me. Can't you have some backbone? Yu Huang raised his eyebrows. The palace master of Fengtian Palace transmitted his voice, this is a matter of whether I have backbone or not. You can leave the miracle site, but I can't. If I want to live, I have to treat it like an ancestor. After talking for so long, aren't you just afraid of death? Yu Huang looked at him with disdain. The palace master of Fengtian Palace didn't deny it. The giant python said, since you know your mistake, shouldn't you know what to do? The palace master of Fengtian Palace was stunned. What should he do? Attack Qin Feiyang? Wouldn't that be a dead end? Unless he could kill Qin Feiyang now, the palace master of Fengtian Palace would definitely be in trouble. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and said, "This has nothing to do with you. Step aside." "Thank you, Brother Qin." The palace master of Fengtian Palace was grateful. "Aunt Tian." Qin Feiyang looked up at the giant python and sneered, "Do you really think you're a big shot? Kid, don't be arrogant." The giant python smiled coldly. "I'm arrogant? Who was the one who made trouble for me in the first place? I'll say it again. You have to pay the price for doing wrong." Qin Feiyang smiled coldly. With a clang, Chang Shui appeared. "I heard that your qi and blood pearl has been shattered and you can't revive Chang Shui and the ancient castle. Are you sure you want to fight with me?" The giant python sneered. Qin Feiyang glanced at Mu Tianyang and Mu Qing and said, "Did they tell you? Didn't you say it yourself? Why? Are you afraid that we'll tell others?" Mu Qing said, her face full of sarcasm. Qin Feiyang joked, "Then you must think that what I said is true." "What do you mean? Could it be that the qi and blood pearl didn't shatter?" Mu Qing raised her eyebrows. "What do you think?" Qin Feiyang smiled playfully. Mu Qing stared coldly at Qin Feiyang, her eyes flickering. "Cut the crap. Since you've appeared, let's settle this once and for all. Let's see how powerful you are, Tian." Qin Feiyang turned his gaze towards the giant python and coldly shouted. The 6 elders, Willow Tree, Ning Mingi, and the others all appeared. A total of 60 false gods. Such a lineup could be said to be universally shocking. However, when they saw the guardians, Willow Tree and the others were all frightened out of their wits. The reputation of the guardians was like thunder to the ears. This was a fear that came from the depths of his soul. "Do you want to leave the Black Tortoise world? Do you want to leave the divine sight? If you do, then get rid of it with me because it is the obstacle for you to leave the Black Tortoise world." Qin Feiyang shouted secretly. The group of people perked up. "Why don't you try?" The guardian sneered, looking majestic without being angry. The pupils of the group of people constricted, and they were full of fear again. Qin Feiyang said, "Believe me, as long as Chang Shui is revived, killing it won't be a problem." "That's right. I've seen Chang Shui's power with my own eyes. Last time at the entrance, the fire dragon and the giant python joined forces, but they couldn't stop Chang Shui's edge." Yu Huang shouted secretly. "What? You've already fought with the fire dragon and the giant python?" Ning Mingi said in shock. "Yes. The fire dragon has been killed by Qin Boy, and the giant python has fled, so you don't have to be afraid of it at all." Yu Huang said. "The fire dragon has been killed?" The group of people was dumbfounded. "I don't want to say it a second time." Qin Feiyang shouted angrily. Willow Tree gritted his teeth and stepped in front of Qin Feiyang. He poured out his false god power without holding back and rushed toward Chang Shui. Yu Huang followed closely behind. Looking at Yu Huang and Willow Tree, Ning Mingi gritted his teeth and said, "Everyone, if we don't listen to the young master, we will die anyway. Why don't we go crazy with him?" "Okay." Zhao Tailai nodded. "Then let's go crazy." The second elder and the others also shouted. Boom! In an instant, foe gods roared as they charged forward, turning into huge waves that surged toward pale snow. 60 false gods revived Chang Shui at the same time. What kind of concept was that? Clang! In the blink of an eye, Chang Shui, which was floating above Qin Feiyang's head, released a bright divine light. An aura that could destroy the world roared in all directions. The sharp edge tore the sky and split the earth. The void above was shattered and turned into nothingness. Below, the cedars also felt a fatal danger and quickly pulled up from the ground and fled into the distance. The middle-aged man sneered and said, "How dare you fight back in the face of a guardian? You really don't know what death is. Shut up. You don't know Qin Feiyang at all. He never does anything that he's not confident in. Since he dares to fight back, it means that he has the confidence." Mu Tianyang shouted inwardly. I really underestimated this kid's courage. The palace master of the Palace of Heaven, who had retreated far away, was also shocked. He dared to fight back in the face of a guardian. Heavens! How could there be such a terrifying young man? Husband, what should we do? Should we help Qin Feiyang or the guardian? The woman flew to the palace master of the Palace of Heaven and asked secretly. What do you think, madam? The palace master of the Palace of Heaven asked. Qin Feiyang is so confident and fearless. It shows how much he trusts Chang Shui. But his current opponent is after all the guardian of the miracle. This beast has the means to control the rule force. Chang Shui may not be able to kill it. I really don't know what to choose. And at this time, we can't make a decision casually. Because if we make the wrong choice, the Palace of Heaven will face a disaster. The woman sighed. Yes. We can't offend Qin Feiyang. And we can't offend the guardian. Now we can only wait and see. If Chang Shui can really threaten the guardian, then we, the palace master of the Palace of Heaven, hesitated and then made up his mind. He gritted his teeth and said, "We'll help Qin Feiyang." Yes. The woman nodded. In the blink of an eye. Seeing Ning Mingyi and the others decisively helping Qin Feiyang, the giant python suddenly exuded a shocking murderous aura. If you want to die, this lord will fulfill your wish. Before its voice faded away, a wave of rule force descended from the sky and blasted towards the group of people. Everyone's eyes suddenly had a trace of panic. Don't be afraid. Believe in the young master, believe in Chang Shui. Willow Tree roared. Qin Feiyang raised his head and looked at the rule force. Not only was there no fear in his eyes, but it was burning with the flames of war. It seems that the lesson last time wasn't enough. He smiled proudly. With a wave of his arm, Chang Shui carried a monstrous aura, smashing the sky and blasted towards the rule force. This is the crucial moment. Can pale snow suppress the power of rule force? The palace master of the Palace of Heaven narrowed his eyes and stared at Chang Shui. There was a bit of anxiety and expectation in his eyes. Ning Mingyi and the others were also very nervous. But at the same time, they also worked harder to revive Chang Shui. They didn't hold back at all with the power of the false god. Clang! Chang Shui's power became more and more terrifying, almost reaching the level of Qin Feiyang's qi and blood pearl to revive Chang Shui last time. There was a loud bang. Chang Shui and the rule force finally collided. Kacha! Woo woo! An apocalyptic aura surged out in all directions with a force that could topple mountains and overturn seas. The void within thousands of miles was instantly annihilated and turned into chaos. The sky also changed color. The wind blew, lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled. It was as if doomsday was coming. Quickly suppress Chang Shui. Quickly suppress the rule force. People on both sides roared in their hearts. Mu Tianyang, Mu Qing, the middle-aged man, and Zhuge Mingyang naturally hoped that the rule force could suppress Chang Shui. Willow Tree and the others certainly hoped that Chang Shui could suppress the rule force. Clang! Boom! Chang Shui and the rule force continued to collide. Everyone didn't dare to blink, afraid that they would miss the most critical scene. The power that Chang Shui is emitting now has far surpassed the fully revived Azure Light Sword and Divine Phoenix Blade. Maybe, it can really suppress the rule force. The Palace Master of the Palace of Heaven said excitedly. The results are not out yet. We can't jump to conclusions. The woman secretly said. But before her voice died away, following an earth-shaking rumble, the power of the law shattered. What? The middle-aged man jumped up directly. The rule force was no match. Mu Tianyang, Mu Qing, and Zhuge Mingyang's faces instantly sank. Even the rule force couldn't stop Chang Shui. This had far exceeded their imagination. Ning Mingyi and the others, Willow Tree, and Yu Huang were naturally excited. Each of them seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. There was no longer fear in their eyes. Instead, they looked at the giant python with provocation and eagerness. Help Qin Feiyang. The palace master of Fengtian Palace looked at this scene and decisively made a choice. He turned into a stream of light and rushed to Qin Feiyang's side with the woman, roaring, "Brother Qin, we are here to help you." Oh no! The middle-aged man's eyelids twitched. The giant python's expression was also extremely ugly. Willow Tree glanced at the palace master of Fengtian Palace and sneered, "At least you have a good eye." The palace master of Fengtian Palace smiled embarrassedly. With a wave of his hand, all the fake gods of Fengtian Palace appeared in an instant. Including his two sons. The palace master of Fengtian Palace shouted, "Quick, revive Chang Shui with everyone." Boom! Waves of fake god power roared out crazily and rushed into Chang Shui. Clang! With the addition of the palace master of Fengtian Palace, Chang Shui's power doubled in an instant. The terrifying sharpness was like the scythe of the Grim Reaper, crazily harvesting everything. The entire departed Soul Mountain was destroyed in an instant. 1. 5. 20. 40. 50. Heavens, the palace master of Fengtian Palace also has 50 fake gods. Mu Qing's heart skipped a beat. 50 plus 60, in other words, Qin Feiyang now had a total of 110 fake gods by his side. Good, very good. Today, you will follow me to break this sky, break the rules of this black tortoise world, and then I will treat you to snake soup. Qin Feiyang laughed. 110 fake gods should be enough to fully revive Chang Shui. Snake soup. Everyone was stunned for a moment, then looked at the giant python in unison, their eyes full of sneers. This giant python was a true divine beast, and they had never tasted snake soup before. Kill. Chapter 1625. The giant python's eyes darkened, and with Mu Tianyang and the other two and Zhuge Mingyang, it instantly disappeared into the void. Leaving just like that? Qin Feiyang was taken aback, and angrily shouted, "Even if you want to leave, you have to leave something for me." Chang Shui angrily slashed out. In the void, a pool of blood emerged. Following closely, a thick giant tail fell from the void. Qin Feiyang, this sovereign will definitely not let you go, just you wait. The giant python's angry roar suddenly echoed in the void, and then it never appeared again. This, Ning Mingyi and the others looked at each other. The dignified guardian of the miracle actually chose to escape. We won. The guardian of the miracle has been defeated by us. I really didn't even dream of it. Then. The group of people cheered, unprecedentedly excited. We let it run away, what's there to be excited about? Willow Tree raised its eyebrows. Yes. As long as we don't kill it, we will always be in danger. Yu Huang sighed. Willow Tree and Yu Huang's words were like a basin of bone-piercing cold water, splashing Ning Mingyi and the others. They all fell silent, their faces full of worry. Don't worry too much. As long as you follow me, even if it appears, it won't dare to do anything to you. The most important thing to confirm is whether Mu Tianyang and the others are in the Black Tortoise realm right now. Qin Feiyang said. Willow Tree said, I'm afraid they are no longer here, after all, it is the guardian of this place, it can definitely erase the devil imprint. The people of the Tianyang Empire are really lucky. Qin Feiyang was a little angry. Let's not worry about it for now. Yu Huang rolled his eyes, looked at the giant tail, and said with a sneaky smile, "Didn't you just say that you would treat us to snake soup?" Everyone's eyes lit up. This giant python was a divine beast, and its flesh was undoubtedly a great supplement for everyone. Eating it would definitely benefit them greatly. I am a man of my word. Willow Tree, go and bring it over. Prepare a big pot of stew. Qin Feiyang smiled. Lu Mu immediately ran over and picked up the giant tail. He ran in front of Qin Feiyang and chuckled, "The weight is not bad." This giant tail was more than 10 meters long and half as thick as a dustpan. It was more than enough for everyone to eat their fill. "Where should I stew it?" Yu Huang asked. Qin Feiyang lowered his head and pondered. "Doesn't Ling Yunfei also have an ancient castle? Let's just go to his castle. This way, we can also prevent the giant python from attacking everyone." Yu Huang said. "No need. Let's find a place with beautiful scenery nearby and start the stew." Qin Feiyang waved his hand. "This is too crazy. What if the giant python is hiding in the dark and spying on us?" Yu Huang was speechless. "I want it to see us and piss it off." Qin Feiyang sneered. Everyone looked at each other and smiled helplessly. However, this pot of snake stew was really worth looking forward to. "I know a place with beautiful scenery. There is a river next to it and there are many spirit essences and herbs around." Palace Master Feng Tian smiled. "Let's go to the place you mentioned. Lead the way." Qin Feiyang said. Palace Master Feng Tian opened a portal. A group of people turned into streams of light and rushed in like lightning. In the depths of the desert, the storm whistled and sand filled the sky. Somewhere in the void, Mu Tianyang, Mu Qing, the middle-aged man and Zhuge Mingyang stood together and looked at the giant python opposite them. The giant python had lost its giant tail and its wound was still bleeding. At this moment, it looked in the direction of the dead spirit mountain and was silent. Its pair of eyes were full of ferocity. Zhuge Mingyang said indifferently, "The guardian of the miracle is just so. Whoosh! The giant python turned its head and looked at Zhuge Mingyang. There was a fierce glint in its eyes. "What did you say? I dare you to say it again. Am I wrong? As the guardian of the miracle, you can't even defeat Qin Feiyang. Don't you find it embarrassing?" Zhuge Mingyang said. The giant python said angrily, "Believe it or not, I will kill you. You can only show off in front of us. But to be honest, if you can't control the rule force, I won't be afraid of you. However, your rule force is only useful to us. It is useless to Qin Feiyang." Zhuge Mingyang sneered. Mu Tianyang and the other two looked at Zhuge Mingyang in disbelief. This guy actually dared to mock the guardian. Who gave him the guts? The huge python looked at Zhuge Mingyang sinisterly. In the end, it actually endured it and snorted coldly, "In this divine sight, I have 10,000 ways to kill Qin Feiyang. However, I do not dare to do so." "Why?" Zhuge Mingyang was stunned and looked at it suspiciously. The giant python said, "Because the existence above is very interested in him. It even clearly said that you are not allowed to kill him." The existence above? The four of them looked at each other. Could it be the creator of the miracle? The giant python said, "It is not the creator, but it is similar to the creator of the miracle. It is an existence that you dare not provoke." The four of them felt their hearts sink. Mu Tianyang said, "Then why didn't the one above let you kill Qin Feiyang? Is it because it has its eyes on Qin Feiyang, or does it have other motives? If it had other motives, Qin Feiyang would definitely die. Because being targeted by such an existence comparable to the creator would definitely not have a good ending. But if this big shot had its eyes on Qin Feiyang, then the situation would be bad for them. Because in this way, Qin Feiyang would have a terrifying backer. I don't know its motives. If it doesn't say, I don't dare to ask. However, from its eyes, I can vaguely tell that it doesn't have its eyes on Qin Feiyang. It just finds it interesting and fun. The giant python shook its head. Interesting. Fun. The four of them were speechless. Qin Feiyang was already so strong, and it was called interesting. Just how bored was this so-called big shot? The middle-aged man looked at the giant python and asked carefully, Sir, may I ask, what should we do now? The so-called we naturally did not include the giant python. The giant python could leave the black tortoise world at any time. But Mu Tianyang, Mu Qing, Zhuge Mingyang, and the middle-aged man could not do anything. Especially the middle-aged man. Being controlled by the devil mark, even if the exit was in front of him, he did not dare to leave the black tortoise world. The giant python glanced at the four of them and remained silent. Zhuge Mingyang frowned and looked at the giant python. You should be able to take us out of the black tortoise world directly, right? The giant python glanced at Zhuge Mingyang, Mu Tianyang, and Mu Qing. I can take the three of you because your devil marks have not formed yet. The three of them sighed in relief. But the middle-aged man's face instantly paled. What the giant python meant was that he could not leave. Mu Qing said, You are the guardian of this place, you should be able to remove the devil marks, right? I can't. Although I can control the power of the rules here and freely enter any place in the first and second level, the devil marks are outside of the rules. Only the big shots above can remove them. Similarly, there is an even more terrifying lightning punishment that only they can control. The giant python said. The middle-aged man said in despair, Then I won't be able to leave for the rest of my life. Yes. Unless the Creator and the others agree. However, I can take you to another place. The giant python said. Where? The middle-aged man was overjoyed. You don't have to worry about that. Although I have agreed to help you, you have to show me the value of helping you. The giant python said. Value? The middle-aged man was stunned. What value could he have? If it was someone else, with his foundation, strength, and financial resources, he would indeed be very valuable. But in front of the guardian, these were nothing at all. The middle-aged man helplessly transmitted his voice to Mu Tianyang. Help me. On what basis? Mu Tianyang sneered. We are your clansmen. The middle-aged man said angrily. Clansmen? When I asked you to go to the river of corrosion with me, why didn't you treat me as your clansman? Now that you are in trouble, you say that we are your clansmen. Don't you think it's ridiculous? Mu Tianyang mocked mercilessly. The middle-aged man was furious. He looked at the giant python and said, My lord, I know that my Tianyang empire is not strong enough, but I think there will be something I can help you with in the future. The giant python was silent. The middle-aged man looked at the giant python, feeling very nervous. The giant python suddenly said, Perhaps in the future, there will be something I can use you for. All right, I promise to help you. Thank you, my lord. The middle-aged man quickly knelt in the void and thanked it. Zhuge Mingyang looked at the middle-aged man and sneered. I didn't expect the people of the Tianyang Empire to be so cowardly. Mu Tianyang's face darkened. He said angrily, You can humiliate him, but you can't humiliate the Tianyang Empire. So what if I humiliate the Tianyang Empire? I want to humiliate you. What can you do to me? Do you think you are still the Mu Tianyang from 10,000 years ago? Even I, Zhuge Mingyang, can destroy you now. What are you so arrogant for? Zhuge Mingyang said with disdain. You, Mu Tianyang was furious. I don't want to talk nonsense with you. Because the current you is no longer qualified to stand with me. Zhuge Mingyang raised the corner of his mouth with extreme contempt. Seeing that Mu Tianyang was about to go berserk, Mu Qing quickly sent a voice transmission. Master, please calm down. It won't be too late to settle the score with him when you have recovered to your peak state. Mu Tianyang took a deep breath and swallowed his anger. But in his heart, it was extremely painful. First, it was Qin Feiyang. Now, it was Zhuge Mingyang. And they were all unscrupulously riding on his head and behaving atrociously. How could he, a god of war, be reduced to such a state? Angry. Aggrieved. Zhuge Mingyang glanced at him with disdain and looked at the giant python. There is something that I am puzzled about. When the Vanga League was captured by Qin Feiyang, why didn't you appear? I believe that the Vanga League's value is greater than the Tianyang Empire's. The Tianyang Empire naturally can't be compared to the Vanga League. But before that, I was always by the side of the big shot above. When I returned, the Vanga League had already been captured. The giant python said regretfully. What were you doing with him? Zhuge Mingyang was suspicious. Saving the fire dragon. The giant python said. Saving the fire dragon? What do you mean? Mu Tianyang was surprised. Qin Feiyang severely injured it. If it wasn't for the big shot above, it would have died. The giant python said. This, Mu Tianyang and Mu Qing looked at each other. Chapter 1626. While they were talking, the python's lost tail had been repaired. Bastard! But suddenly, it roared. Zhuge Mingyang and the others were startled and looked at it suspiciously. The python waved its tail and the group of people disappeared. The next moment, they landed in the sky above a mountain. The mountains were endless. The mountains were majestic and magnificent. The mountain stream was lush and green. A wide river, like a giant dragon, crossed the north and south. The river water flowed slowly and was very clear. At this moment, beside the river, on a grassland, a few big square stones were piled into a stone stove with a diameter of more than 10 meters. On top of it, there was a big iron pot. The iron pot was filled with water. On the side, a group of people were surrounding a giant tail, and they were extremely busy. Some of them were scraping the snake scales on the giant tail with their artifacts. Some of them grabbed the artifacts and chopped the giant tail into palm-sized pieces, washed them with the river water and put them into the big iron pot. That's right. They were Qin Feiyang and the others. Qin Feiyang and Willow Tree didn't join in the fun. They stood aside and watched everyone busy with a smile. What are they doing? The middle-aged man looked at this scene in astonishment. Nonsense, obviously they are going to stew snake soup. Zhuge Mingyang rolled his eyes. Looking at the snake meat in the iron pot, he couldn't help but swallow his saliva. They are really going to stew it. And they are doing it so blatantly. The middle-aged man was stunned and glanced at the python. At this moment, the python was so angry that its body was trembling and its eyes were spitting fire. This guy really dares to do it. Mu Tianyang was speechless. To be honest, I also want to try it. Mu Qing muttered and only swallowed her saliva. The python suddenly glanced at Zhuge Mingyang and Mu Qing and said angrily, "What are you doing?" "Nothing." The two shook their heads quickly. The python said gloomily, "Then why do I hear the sound of saliva swallowing? Is there?" Both of them had innocent looks on their faces. Zhuge Mingyang said, "We are angry." "Yes, yes. These bastards actually dared to brazenly stew your meat. This is simply unforgivable." Mu Qing also roared with indignation. Hey, 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 what are you all standing there for? We're all old friends, come down and try it together." Snake stew made from divine meat is a delicacy that is hard to come by in 100,000 years. Qin Feiyang raised his head and looked at the giant python, Zhuge Mingyang, and the others as he grinned. The giant python's aura was not concealed at all. Therefore, as soon as the giant python appeared, everyone noticed it. However, they didn't pay any attention to it and continued to do their own things, angering this beast to death. Hearing Qin Feiyang's words, the giant python was furious. But suddenly, another gulping sound came from the side. The giant python flew into a rage out of humiliation, glaring at Zhuge Mingyang. Zhuge Mingyang quickly waved his hand and pointed at Mu Qing, saying, "It's not me, it's him. Don't slander me, it's obviously you." Mu Qing said angrily. "How can I possibly want to eat the guardian's meat? Isn't that disrespectful? Look at you, you're almost drooling, and you still say it's not you. To think that you're a man, you dare to do it but don't dare to admit it." Zhuge Mingyang despised him. Growl. However, before his voice died away, Zhuge Mingyang's stomach suddenly made a sound. Ah! Zhuge Mingyang was stunned. Mu Qing sneered and looked at the giant python, saying, "My lord, did you see that? It's him." The giant python stared at Zhuge Mingyang angrily. Zhuge Mingyang smiled awkwardly. It was embarrassing to be betrayed by his stomach. Qin Feiyang smiled playfully and asked, "Are you sure you don't want to come down and have a taste? It's a rare delicacy, you won't have it in the future if you miss it." The middle-aged man, Mu Tianyang, and Mu Qing's face darkened. "Can you stop tempting us? Can't you see that the main culprit is right next to us? Taste. I definitely have to taste it." Zhuge Mingyang suddenly grinned and flew toward Qin Feiyang. "What's going on?" On the contrary, Qin Feiyang was stunned. Willow Tree and the others also looked at each other. Is there something wrong with this person's brain? Can't he see that the giant python is about to go berserk? Mu Tianyang and the other two were also shocked. By the way, Zhuge Mingyang suddenly stopped and looked up at the giant python and Mu Tianyang, saying, "You don't have to wait for me, go first." After that, he didn't care about the giant python's ugly expression and landed beside Qin Feiyang without looking back. "Are you okay?" Qin Feiyang looked at Zhuge Mingyang in shock. Zhuge Mingyang frowned and said, "You didn't ask me to come down, right? Why? Are you going back on your words now?" "No, no." Qin Feiyang quickly waved his hand and said, "I mean, aren't you afraid of offending the guardian? I have nothing to lose, so why should I be afraid?" Zhuge Mingyang grinned and walked to the iron pot, sniffing it and said, "Although it hasn't started cooking yet, I seem to smell the meat." Hearing this, Ning Mingi, the palace master of Fengtian Palace, and the others couldn't help but twitch their faces. Is there really nothing wrong with this person's brain? The giant python couldn't bear it anymore and roared in anger, "Go to hell, all of you." A force of rules suddenly fell from the sky and blasted toward the group. "Protect the meat." Zhuge Mingyang's face changed and quickly roared. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. The giant python angrily attacked. This person's first thought was not to save his life, but to protect the meat. What was he trying to do? However, doubts were doubts, the meat really had to be protected, otherwise the snake soup would be ruined. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and brought everyone, including the snake meat and the big pot, into the castle. In an instant, only Zhuge Mingyang was left at the scene. "And me? How could you leave me behind?" Zhuge Mingyang said angrily. The giant python stared at Zhuge Mingyang and laughed sinisterly, "You're a traitor, your death is not to be regretted." The force of rules carried a destructive aura and rushed toward Zhuge Mingyang. It's over, it's over. I shouldn't have been greedy. Qin Feiyang, I hate you, you actually tempted me like this. Zhuge Mingyang was furious. Then he disappeared. Without the slightest sign. There was no trace of him, as if he had disappeared from the world. Mu Tianyang and the other two widened their eyes as they scanned the place where Zhuge Mingyang had disappeared. Their faces were filled with shock and doubt. Boom! The force of rules descended. Accompanied by a deafening sound, tens of thousands of miles were instantly razed to the ground, not a single blade of grass was left. The giant python scanned the broken ground and coldly snorted, "I'll let you be arrogant first." With that, he disappeared with Mu Tianyang and the other two. Not long after, Qin Feiyang, Willow Tree, Ning Mingyi, and the palace master of Feng Tian Palace appeared. They looked up at the sky, then looked at the place where Zhuge Mingyang disappeared, their eyes full of surprise. Qin Feiyang said, "Use your divine sense to search." Swish! Before he finished, Zhuge Mingyang appeared out of thin air, and said, "You don't need to look, I'll come out myself." "You also have a spatial divine object?" Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. Zhuge Mingyang was stunned, and asked suspiciously, "Did I say that I don't have one before? Did you have one before?" Qin Feiyang frowned. Zhuge Mingyang said, "Then you didn't ask before." Qin Feiyang couldn't help but be angry. He really didn't know that Zhuge Mingyang had a spatial divine object. In the past, he also thought that Zhuge Mingyang couldn't have a spatial divine object. But now, how could he not be surprised that a spatial divine object suddenly appeared? After Qin Feiyang calmed down, he frowned and said, "Is this the reason why you dare to be so presumptuous in front of the giant python? Isn't that obvious?" Zhuge Mingyang smiled. Qin Feiyang looked deeply at Zhuge Mingyang, then glanced at the broken ground, looked at the palace master of Feng Tian Palace and Ning Mingyi, and said, "Let's change places. Let me think." Ning Mingyi lowered his head and pondered for a while, then said, "Let's just go to our Aeon city." "You mean the city outside the Soul-Sealing Valley?" Qin Feiyang asked. "Yes." Ning Mingyi nodded. "Okay." Qin Feiyang said. Willow Tree immediately opened the portal. They walked in one after another. Zhuge Mingyang's eyes flashed, and he also followed with a thick face. The city didn't change at all. When they arrived above the city, Ning Mingyi directly landed on a square in the center of the city. The square was large and square, enough to accommodate tens of thousands of people. Qin Feiyang also landed in the center of the square, glanced around, and took everyone out of the castle, including the divine meat in the big iron pot, and said with a smile, "Continue." The group of people began to get busy again. Zhuge Mingyang looked around. Since he had nothing to do, he also went to help. Qin Feiyang glanced at Zhuge Mingyang, walked to a corner of the square, took out a tea table and 4 wooden chairs, and placed them on the ground. Qin Feiyang sat on one of the wooden chairs, took out the Beauty of Qinghai, and began to make tea. "This is," Ning Mingyi looked at the Beauty of Qinghai, and his eyes suddenly lit up. He asked, "Young master, is this a tea set made of Qinghai nephrite?" Qin Feiyang nodded and said with a smile, "Do you also like to drink tea?" "Yes, of course I do." Ning Mingyi nodded repeatedly. Willow Tree next to him glanced at the Beauty of Qinghai suspiciously and asked, "What's different about this tea set made of Qinghai nephrite?" "As soon as I heard your words, I knew you were an outsider. This tea set made of Qinghai nephrite can completely remove the impurities in the tea leaves, making the tea more fragrant and stronger. Moreover, even the most ordinary tea leaves can be brewed with this Qinghai nephrite tea set. It can be brewed into the best tea." Ning Mingyi said. "I see." Willow Tree suddenly understood. Qin Feiyang smiled, looked up at the 3 of them, and said suspiciously, "Why are you all standing there? Sit down." Ning Mingyi and Willow Tree looked at each other, looking a little scared. Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled, "You don't have to be so reserved with me. Just get along with each other like friends." Then we'll accept deferentially. Ning Mingi and the other two smiled and sat down one after another. Soon, the rich tea fragrance drifted out. There was also a wisp of medicinal herbs in the tea fragrance. Ning Mingi sniffed and said in surprise, "Why does this tea have the smell of medicinal herbs? And it doesn't smell like an ordinary medicinal herb. This was given to me by an old senior. These tea leaves were put in the medicine field by him and carefully cultivated. There's not much of it produced in a year. It's very precious. Try it." Qin Feiyang poured a cup and handed it to Ning Mingi. Ning Mingi took the teacup and tasted it carefully. His eyes suddenly lit up, and he nodded, "Good tea. I've lived for so many years, but this is the first time I've seen such special tea leaves. Is it that exaggerated?" The palace master of Fengtian Palace glanced at him suspiciously, poured a cup, and tasted it. His eyes lit up immediately, and he praised, "It's indeed the best of the best." Willow Tree also tasted it and wondered, "Why do I feel that it's no different from other tea leaves?" "You're a typical amateur." Ning Mingi shook his head, suddenly glanced at Zhuge Mingyang not far away, and whispered, "Young master, this Zhuge Mingyang is not simple, especially his space divine item." "What do you mean?" Chapter 1627. Previously, when the rule force fell, this person hid in the space divine item, but he was unharmed. What does this mean? It means that his space divine item can withstand the bombardment of the rule force. Ning Mingi said in a deep voice. Hearing this, Willow Tree and Palace Master Fengtian next to him were shocked. Before Ning Mingi spoke, they really didn't think about this problem. Willow Tree said in surprise, "The castle can also withstand the bombardment of the rule force. Could it be that his space divine item is on the same level as the castle?" Qin Feiyang drank tea with a faint smile on his face. He wasn't surprised by Ning Mingi's words. "How can you still smile? If Zhuge Mingyang's space divine item is on the same level as the castle, then it's not necessarily a good thing for us." Willow Tree frowned. Palace Master Fengtian and Ning Mingi also nodded, agreeing with Willow Tree's words. "Don't worry. Although I don't know what level his space divine item is. But I'm sure it's not comparable to the castle at all." Qin Feiyang said with a smile. "So confident?" The three of them were surprised. "There's something you don't know. The power that the castle is displaying now is not all," Qin Feiyang said. "Because the castle still had the seal. When the seal was removed, it would undoubtedly be even more powerful." "Not all." The three of them were shocked. Qin Feiyang asked, "I don't know if you have noticed a problem." "What problem?" The three of them were suspicious. Qin Feiyang said, "Not long ago, your 110 pseudo-gods joined forces to revive Chang Shui, but it didn't fully recover." "Yes. Not to mention ordinary divine artifacts, even your Phoenix God Saber and Azure Light Sword can be fully recovered in an instant with the 110 pseudo-gods joining forces." Ning Mingi looked at Palace Master Fengtian and said. The Palace Master of Fengtian Palace frowned. He looked at Qin Feiyang and asked, "Has Chang Shui really not fully recovered?" "I'm sure of that." "No." Willow Tree shook his head. "How so?" Palace Lord Fengtian asked. "Because Chang Shui possesses the power of law. If it fully recovers, the power of law will appear. However, the power of the laws did not appear before." Willow Tree said. "The power of laws." Ning Mingi and Wang Chong looked at each other, their faces full of shock. Chang Shui was actually a divine artifact with the power of law. If this was true, then this Chang Shui had already surpassed the category of a divine artifact. Ning Mingi asked, "Does the ancient castle have the power of laws?" Willow Tree nodded. Ning Mingi and the Palace Master of Fengtian Palace sucked in a breath of cold air. No wonder these two divine artifacts were so heaven-defying. It turned out that they both had the power of laws. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, so, no matter how powerful Zhuge Mingyang's spatial divine artifact is, it definitely can't compare to the ancient castle and Changshui. Father. At this time, a purple-clothed youth ran over. It was Li Chang. The palace master of Fengtian Palace said, hurry up and greet Uncle Qin. Uncle Qin. Qin Feiyang was stunned. Ning Mingyi and Willow Tree looked at each other. Li Chang himself was also stunned. Qin Feiyang came back to his senses, looked at the palace master of Fengtian Palace, and said, are you talking about me? That's right. You and I address each other as equals. Li Chang is my son, so naturally, I have to call you uncle. The palace master of Fengtian Palace nodded. Qin Feiyang's face twitched, and he hurriedly said, don't. Brother Qin, do you dislike children? The palace master of Fengtian Palace said. No. In terms of age, I'm definitely younger than Li Chang. If you ask him to call me uncle, it will sound so awkward. Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly. No. Age doesn't mean anything, but seniority must not be messed up. Chang'er, hurry up. The palace master of Fengtian Palace shouted. Li Chang looked at Qin Feiyang, his face turning green and red, but he couldn't say anything. The palace master of Fengtian Palace said angrily, do you need me to say it again? Li Chang's gaze trembled, and he hurriedly bowed and said, Li Chang greets Uncle Qin. Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly and waved his hand, no need to be so polite, no need to be so polite. For no reason, he actually had a nephew. And it was a nephew who was older than him. How funny was this? The palace master of Fengtian Palace looked at Qin Feiyang without blushing and said with a smile, Brother Qin, since you have recognized my son as your nephew, shouldn't there be a greeting gift? Ah! Qin Feiyang was stunned. Ning Mingyi said, Li Yun, so this is your purpose. You're very scheming. The palace master of Fengtian Palace said, isn't it natural for an uncle to give his nephew a greeting gift? How can this be called scheming? Shameless. Ning Mingyi looked down on him. Cough. Qin Feiyang coughed dryly and said with a fake smile, it seems that no one has a rule that I have to give a greeting gift when I recognize a nephew. This, the palace master of Fengtian Palace's expression was a little ugly. He thought that Qin Feiyang would more or less give him some face. But he didn't expect him to reject him like this. Li Chang said unhappily, Father, can you stop fooling around? It's already embarrassing enough to call him uncle, and you're still licking your face to ask for a greeting gift. Even if you don't find it embarrassing, I do. Being reprimanded mercilessly by his own son in front of everyone, Li Yun felt even more embarrassed, and his expression was extremely awkward. He said impatiently, What are you here for? Tell me quickly. Li Chang said, Give me your alchemy fire. Alchemy fire? Qin Feiyang was stunned. That was right. In the past, Willow Tree said that Fengtian Palace and the Vanga League both had grade 8 alchemy fires. Li Yun frowned and said, What do you need alchemy fire for? To stew snake soup, of course. Can ordinary firewood cook the meat of a god? Li Chang was depressed. Why did this old man's IQ become lower and lower after meeting Qin Feiyang? Li Yun nodded in realization. With a thought, a cluster of alchemy fire flew out from between his brows and flew to Li Chang. Li Chang grabbed the alchemy fire and prepared to leave. Qin Feiyang suddenly said, Wait. Li Chang turned to look at him and asked suspiciously, Uncle Qin, do you have any other orders? Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. As soon as he heard the term Uncle Qin, goosebumps appeared all over his body. He said, Let me see that alchemy fire. Oh no. This guy, don't tell me he's thinking about my alchemy fire. Li Yun's heart skipped a beat. Li Chang looked at Li Yun. Li Yun sighed helplessly and nodded to Li Chang. Then, Li Chang respectfully handed the alchemy fire to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang grabbed the alchemy fire and sized it up. This alchemy fire was as big as a fist. The flames gushed out and emitted a heart-palpitating aura. This aura was comparable to a war emperor. Obviously. This was a cluster of grade 8 alchemy fire. Li Yun looked at Qin Feiyang and felt extremely nervous. After a long while, Qin Feiyang finally returned the alchemy fire to Li Chang. This made Li Yuan a little surprised. He thought that Qin Feiyang wanted to take it for himself and was even prepared to give it away. But he didn't expect that what he expected didn't happen. After Li Chang left, Qin Feiyang looked at Willow Tree and said, "Come closer." Willow Tree put its ear close. Qin Feiyang muttered a few words. "Okay." Willow Tree nodded, immediately got up, opened a portal, and walked in without looking back. "What is Willow Tree doing?" Li Yun asked suspiciously. Qin Feiyang smiled and looked at Ning Mingi. "You should also have alchemy fire." Ning Mingi hesitated for a moment and nodded. "I do have it. I wonder why young master asked this." Qin Feiyang said, "What grade?" "Grade 8. Ning Mingi said. "Give it to me." Qin Feiyang stretched out his hand. Ning Mingi's expression froze. But in the end, he still handed over the alchemy fire. This alchemy fire, which he placed in his sea of consciousness, was the size of a fist and exuded an aura comparable to that of a combat emperor. "Erase the blood contract," Qin Feiyang said with a smile. "Young master, I've given you everything I have. Now, only this alchemy fire is left. Can't you leave some for me?" Ning Mingi suddenly became anxious. Qin Feiyang said, "This alchemy fire is more valuable in my hands. Grade 8 alchemy fire, no matter who has it, is valuable." Ning Mingi said aggrievedly. Qin Feiyang's face darkened as he said, "Do you remember what I said? You have to perform well to have a chance to get the divine phoenix saber back." Ning Mingi was about to cry. He helplessly erased the blood contract. Li Yun asked curiously, "Brother Qin, are you also an alchemist?" "Yes." Qin Feiyang nodded. Ning Mingi and Li Yun looked at each other in surprise. Li Yun asked again, "What's the level of your spiritual power?" "Level 45. Qin Feiyang looked down at the alchemy fire in his hand and answered without thinking. "Level 45. Not bad." Both of them nodded. Level 45 spiritual power is only called not bad. Qin Feiyang was stunned. He looked up at the two of them in shock. Was there someone in the Vanga League and Fengtian Palace who had a higher spiritual power than him? Wait. Level 45. Ning Mingi and Li Yun also reacted and looked at Qin Feiyang in shock. Did they hear wrongly? It was actually level 45 spiritual power. Looking at the sudden change in their expressions, Qin Feiyang understood. He shook his head and smiled. He put away the alchemy fire, picked up the teacup, and continued to drink tea. "Young master, are you sure you didn't make a mistake?" Ning Mingi asked. "No. I tested it the last time at the main tower," Qin Feiyang said. Both of their breathing became rapid. Li Yun quickly took out a spirit stone and said, "Can you test it again? Is this necessary?" Qin Feiyang was doubtful. "Yes." Both of them nodded at the same time. "All right, I'll satisfy your curiosity." Qin Feiyang smiled, grabbed the spirit stone and entered a state of meditation. Buzz. Very soon, the spirit stone began to vibrate. Not far away. When the people who were busy saw this scene, they all looked over curiously. But gradually, everyone's curiosity was replaced by shock. Including Zhuge Mingyang. Ningyang, Ningyifeng, Zhao Shimen, and Li Chang's expressions were even more exaggerated. Level 30. Level 40. Level 45. It was actually level 45 spiritual power. Goodness! Was this a dream? This was the first time in their lives that they saw someone with such a high spiritual power. Ning Mingyi and Li Yun were also dumbstruck. It turned out to be true. It was already enviable that his cultivation talent was so amazing. Even the heavenly path of alchemy was so terrifying. Chapter 1628. The square fell into a dead silence. Everyone was deeply shocked by Qin Feiyang's mental strength. Level 45. It seemed that this could only be described with the word abnormal. Swish. Suddenly, Willow Tree appeared out of thin air, walked quickly to Qin Feiyang's side, and whispered a few words. What? Qin Feiyang suddenly got up, and the mental stone in his hand was crushed with a crack. Huh? Everyone was surprised. What made Qin Feiyang lose his composure? Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice, "Have you asked how they disappeared?" Willow Tree said, "I asked the nearby beasts. They said that it was a giant python. It should be the Guardian's doing. This bastard, there's no end to it." Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with a cold light. "Brother Qin, what are you talking about?" "What beast?" Li Yun asked anxiously. Qin Feiyang said, "Just now, I asked Willow Tree to go to the Nether Hall, but the people of the Nether Hall have all been transferred by the giant python." "All transferred? What does this giant python want to do?" Li Yun frowned. "Who knows?" Qin Feiyang sneered, rolled his eyes, and looked at Li Yun with a smile. "Let's discuss something." "What is it?" Li Yun looked at him warily. "I won't take it by force." "Why are you guarding against me?" Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes and said with a smile, "I also need a cluster of 8th grade pill fire." Li Yun was stunned and smiled bitterly. Sure enough, he couldn't escape the fate of being exploited. "Okay. It's just a cluster of pill fire. I'll give it to you." Give me the pill fire." Li Yun said loudly. He was straightforward and did not beat around the bush. Qin Feiyang also liked this person more and more. Li Chang ran over with his alchemic flame. Li Yun looked at the pill fire and could not help but feel her heart ache. She said helplessly, "Give the pill fire to your Uncle Qin." "For him? Then what do we use?" Li Chang frowned. Li Yun waved her hand and said, "We still have rank 6 and rank 7 alchemy fires. It's not a problem." "What a bandit." Li Chang snorted inwardly, but he didn't dare to show any disrespect on the surface. He handed the alchemy flame to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang grabbed it in his hand. Li Yun also immediately erased the blood contract inside. Ning Mingyi asked suspiciously, "Young master, why do you need 2 8th grade pill fires?" "You'll know soon enough." Qin Feiyang smiled. Whoosh! Beside him, 2 more alchemy fires appeared. One of them was the Nether Devil Flame. The other flame belonged to the main pagoda. Li Yun looked at the Nether Devil Flame and frowned. "Don't you already have an 8th grade alchemy fire? Why do you still want ours? Just watch quietly." Qin Feiyang smiled, put away the pampered Qing Hai on the table in front of him, and then took out Ning Mingyi's alchemy fire. Looking at the 3 8th grade alchemy fires, the Nether Devil Flame immediately pounced on them as if it had seen 3 delicious cakes. Everyone was surprised. What was going on? What happened next shocked everyone once again. The Nether Devil Flame swallowed the 3 8th grade alchemy fires in front of them. Boom! Following that, the Nether Devil Flame rushed out a terrifying aura. It covered all directions. And the whole city instantly turned into a big furnace. The houses, streets, and squares were all melting. Qin Feiyang's eyes also trembled, and he got up and looked at the nether devil flame in excitement. Because the aura emitted by the nether devil flame at this moment was divine power. In other words, the nether devil flame had successfully been promoted to the 9th grade. According to the corresponding level, the 9th grade was already comparable to the existence of the false god. "Father, save me quickly!" Li Chang suddenly screamed. The clothes on his body suddenly caught fire, his hair was also on fire, his skin was also severely burned, and blood flowed out of his body. He was only a 6-star war emperor, so he naturally couldn't withstand this kind of high temperature. Ning Yifeng and Zhao Shimeng were in the same situation as him. Seeing this, Qin Feiyang hurriedly controlled the nether devil flame to reduce the temperature. At this time, the temperature here slowly cooled down. Li Chang and the other two also quickly took out healing pills and stuffed them into their mouths. Looking at the nether devil flame, their faces were full of fear. Seeing that the three of them were out of danger, Li Yuan and the others also heaved a sigh of relief. Subsequently, everyone looked at the nether devil flame in unison, their eyes full of surprise. Qin Feiyang looked at Ning Mingi and said with a smile, "I told you, the alchemy fire will be more valuable in my hands." Ning Mingi said, "What the hell is going on?" Qin Feiyang stretched out his arm and spread out his 5 fingers. The nether devil flame landed on his palm and laughed. "It's called the nether devil flame, it can devour other alchemy fires and increase its grade." "What? There's actually such an alchemy fire?" Everyone was shocked. Qin Feiyang said, "Now, it has already been raised to the 9th grade, I should be able to refine a pill with 8 pill veins. 8 pill veins. Once again, the crowd was deeply shaken. But Qin Feiyang suddenly frowned again. "But what?" Everyone looked at him suspiciously. Qin Feiyang thought, "The nether devil flame has already transformed into a divine fire, can my current pill furnaces withstand its burning?" This, Ning Mingi hesitated for a moment, then shook his head and said, "This is really hard to say. I'll give it a try." Qin Feiyang immediately entered the castle and walked to the front of the pill furnace. Fatso and the others had already come out from Ling Yunfei's spatial divine object. At this moment, they were all looking at Qin Feiyang, their eyes filled with anticipation. "Are you sure you want to try? This might destroy a pill furnace." Dan Wangkai was originally preparing to refine pills, but seeing Qin Feiyang's arrival, he immediately retreated to the side and asked. "If it's destroyed, then so be it," Qin Feiyang said, reviving the nether devil flame. In the end, in less than 3 breaths of time, the pill furnace in front of him melted. Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly, looked at Dan Wangkai and said, "Looks like I have to find a 9th grade pill furnace." Dan Wangkai said, "A 9th grade pill furnace is already considered half a divine artifact, it's not that easy to find." Qin Feiyang lowered his head and muttered to himself. Fatty asked, "Boss, does this nether demonic flame need to be upgraded by another grade before it can be considered a true divine fire?" But a 9th grade pill fire is not easy to find. Not to mention 3 clusters of 9th grade pill fire. Qin Feiyang shook his head and sighed, leaving the castle alone. "How is it?" Willow Tree and the others looked at him. Qin Feiyang shook his head, looked at Ning Mingi and Li Yun, and said, "Do you have a 9th grade pill fire and a 9th grade pill furnace?" The two shook their heads. Qin Feiyang said, "Then do you know where it might be?" "It's hard to say. It might be in the miracle, but it depends on whether you can find it." Li Yun said. "Forget it, we'll talk about it later." Qin Feiyang smiled, looked at the snake meat in the pot, and said, "I can't help but want to taste it first." He stretched out his big hand and grabbed in the air. A piece of snake meat flew out of the big pot and floated in front of him. Seeing this, Zhao Tailai immediately propped up a divine power barrier to protect Li Chang and the other two. "Don't be nervous. I can control the temperature of the nether devil flame as I wish, and it won't hurt them anymore. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, took out the nether devil flame, placed it under the snake meat, and quickly recovered. However, the giant python's divine meat was beyond imagination. After a full 100 breaths, there was no oil flowing. After all, it's a war god level existence. Although the nether devil flame has been upgraded to the 9th grade, it's still not a real divine fire. How can it be cooked so easily? Li Yun said. Qin Feiyang nodded. Time passed little by little. Half an hour later, the snake meat finally began to flow. Wisps of meat fragrance wafted out, making people salivate. Another half an hour later, the snake meat was finally cooked, the surface was golden yellow, the meat fragrance assailed the nostrils, making the people present couldn't help but swallow their saliva. Who has seasoning? Seeing that it was almost done, Qin Feiyang looked up at everyone and asked with a smile. Me. Zhuge Mingyang sneakily came up and took out a dozen jars, which were full of all kinds of seasonings. After Zhuge Mingyang sprinkled these seasonings one by one, an even more intoxicating fragrance suddenly wafted out. Qin Feiyang also couldn't help but swallow his saliva. But just as he took out the chang shui and was about to cut a piece to taste, Zhuge Mingyang grabbed the snake meat and quickly retreated. Qin Feiyang was stunned, his face immediately darkened, and said angrily, "If you want to eat, don't you know how to roast it yourself? There's ready-made food, why would I roast it myself? Is there something wrong with my brain?" Tisk, tsk, tsk. The taste of this divine meat is really good. Zhuge Mingyang rolled his eyes at Qin Feiyang, then sat on the ground without caring about his image, and started to chew on it with a face full of enjoyment. Qin Feiyang's veins were popping. He had roasted this piece of snake meat for an entire hour, but he didn't even get to taste it. It was too much. Li Yun laughed, "Anyway, there's still so much, let's continue roasting." Qin Feiyang glared at Zhuge Mingyang, then looked at Li Chang and said, "Go and get more." "Is the snake soup still stewing?" Li Chang asked. "Of course," Qin Feiyang said. As a result, Li Chang took almost half of the snake meat and roasted it for Qin Feiyang. The other half was stewed directly. The divine meat contained an extremely terrifying energy. It was beneficial for anyone below the war god level. False god could strengthen the body. The war emperor, as well as those below the war emperor, could not only strengthen the body, but could also increase their cultivation. For example, after Li Chang, Zhao Shimeng, and Ning Yifeng finished eating the snake meat, the huge amount of energy was about to burst their bodies. When Qin Feiyang saw this scene, he hurriedly said, "The energy contained in the deity's flesh is even greater than I imagined. Is there anyone who has the power of a false god similar to the power of ice? Help them cool down and disperse the energy." "I'll do it." Li Yun's wife took a step forward, rolled up the three of them, and soared into the sky. Then, with a wave of her hand, waves of false god power appeared, and the space around Li Chang and the other two immediately condensed into pieces of ice, trapping the three of them. Zhao Tailai, Ning Mingyi, and Li Yun were all extremely nervous. Finally, the three of them received huge benefits, and their cultivations soared by 4 small realms, directly stepping into the peak of the 9-star War Emperor realm. This, Qin Feiyang was dumbstruck. In the past, he had also eaten divine meat. It was the Holy Lion. But at that time, he had only broken through from the 6-star War Saint to the peak of the 7-star War Emperor realm, and it had not even allowed him to break through 2 small realms. One had to know. At that time, he was still in the War Sage realm. But now, Li Chang and the other two were all War Emperor, but they could still soar by 4 small realms. Obviously, the giant python was many times stronger than the Holy Lion. Chapter 1629. Father, Mother, have we really reached the peak of the 9-star Combat Emperor realm? The three of them broke out of the ice. Their auras surged, but their faces were filled with disbelief. They could not believe that one's cultivation could make such a huge breakthrough. It's true. Li Yun and his wife, Ning Mingi, and Zhao Tailai nodded. The three of them were overjoyed. They had broken through from the 6-star Combat Emperor realm to the peak of the 9-star Combat Emperor realm. This was like a dream. So what if you're at the peak of the 9-star Combat Emperor realm? Killing you is just a matter of moving my fingers. A disdainful voice suddenly sounded. Everyone raised their eyebrows and turned to look at Zhuge Mingyang. They saw him eating the barbecued meat with his head lowered and his face was filled with disdain. Zhao Shimeng snorted, "You're a fake god and we're just combat emperors. Of course you have the right to say that. Even your parents are trash in front of me, let alone you." Zhuge Mingyang said indifferently. The faces of Zhao Tailai and the others were instantly filled with rage. "You're not convinced." Zhuge Mingyang smirked and looked up at them. He said disdainfully, "Come at me together. If you can even hurt a strand of my hair, you'll win." Arrogant. Presumptuous. The few of them were furious. "I'm so arrogant. What can you do to me?" Zhuge Mingyang's eyes were filled with provocation. Li Chang said angrily, "If you have the ability, suppress your cultivation to the same level as mine and challenge me one-on-one." "Shut up." Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and said. Li Chang said unhappily, "Uncle Qin, are you going to let him be so presumptuous? Can you not call me uncle?" Qin Feiyang looked at Li Chang helplessly and said, "He has the right to be presumptuous. Because even if he suppresses his cultivation to the 8 or 7-star Combat Emperor realm, you'll still be abused." Li Chang was surprised. "Is he that strong?" Brother Qin is still quite observant. Zhuge Mingyang smiled mockingly. He then lowered his head and chewed on the barbecued meat in his hand. Li Chang glanced at Zhuge Mingyang with a cold glint in his eyes. The woman also glanced at Zhuge Mingyang. She looked at Li Chang and said, "Chang, why aren't you thanking your Uncle Qin? If it wasn't for him, you wouldn't have been able to obtain such a great fortune." Li Chang quickly flew in front of Qin Feiyang and cupped his hands. "Thank you, Uncle Qin. Why is it getting smoother and smoother?" Qin Feiyang was speechless. Cough cough. "Shi Meng, Yifeng, come down as well. Thank the young master properly." Ning Mingi said. "Don't. I'm really worried that I'll have another nephew and niece later." Qin Feiyang hurriedly waved his hand. There was still a trace of gratitude in Zhao Shimeng's heart, but when she heard Qin Feiyang's words, it suddenly disappeared. She angrily said, "Who wants to be your niece?" So, to be able to break through 2 small realms is already a surprise for me. Of course I'm happy. Qin Feiyang's face sank when he said this. He said, "This shows that the giant python's strength is much more terrifying than we thought." Everyone's heart sank when they heard this. It had eaten divine meat before, yet it still had such a good effect. This was enough to show that the giant python's strength was not ordinary. "Why are you so nervous? With Chang Shui around, no matter how strong it is, it can't threaten us." Li Yun suddenly said with a smile. "That's true." Everyone nodded. Qin Feiyang said, "We can't rely too much on Chang Shui. Brother Qin, our situation is different from yours. You can continue to cultivate and break through to the war god realm and surpass the giant python. But we can't leave the black tortoise realm. The false god realm is already the peak. So we can only rely on external objects." Li Yun sighed. "Yes." The others from the palace of Fengtian nodded. They didn't know that Qin Feiyang had already mastered the method to break the demon mark. If they knew, they definitely wouldn't think so. Because once the demon mark was removed and they left the black tortoise realm, the power of laws would lose its effect. Their cultivations would also break through. Willow Tree glanced at the people from the palace of Fengtian and said, "Young master, Li Yun is a good person. Are you really not going to help them?" Qin Feiyang said, "It depends on the situation. If there are enough false god realm divine beasts in the Black Tortoise realm, it's not impossible to help them." Willow Tree nodded. Qin Feiyang gathered his thoughts. He waved his hand. Fatso and the others, as well as the white-eyed wolf and the other beasts, appeared one after another. As soon as these guys appeared, except for women like Lu Hong and Luo Qingzhu, they all pounced crazily on the barbecue like bandits. They were in the castle and could clearly hear everything outside, so they had been waiting impatiently for a long time. Lu Jing gripped a piece of barbecue tightly and glared at the aggressive white-eyed wolf. He roared, "Wolf cub, don't snatch it from me, okay? Sorry, I didn't notice you." The white-eyed wolf smiled embarrassedly. "I'm standing here alone, how could you not notice me? Do you think I'm stupid?" Lu Jing snorted coldly, turned around and ran to Lu Hong's side. He smiled and said, "Hong, this group of bandits is too scary. Try it quickly. What about us?" Luo Qingzhu, the Ghost Queen, and the Miss of the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion stood at the side and stared straight at Lu Jing. "Go get it yourself." Lu Jing waved his hand and didn't even look at the girls. He only had eyes for Lu Hong. "Lu Jing, you're going too far. We're all women like Lu Hong. How can you treat us differently?" The Miss of the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion said unhappily. Lu Jing glanced at the girls and said something that angered them to death, "Are you very familiar with me? Are you looking for a beating?" The Miss of the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion rebuked angrily. Hee. If you want to hit me, I won't give you a chance. In this world, only Hong has the qualifications to hit me. Lu Jing grinned and said, looking like a rascal. "Bah! Who wants to hit you? Not like a man." The girls all revealed looks of disdain. Lu Hong, who was at the side, was already blushing. Roar, not long after. Wolf King, Fatso, and the others began to wail like ghosts and howl like wolves. One by one, they rushed into the sky. Their faces were flushed red, like red-hot soldering iron. All the pores on their bodies were emitting air, and boundless energy crazily tore at their bodies. Ling Yunfei, Cao Li Jian, Scorpion King, and the others out. Although they have all reached the peak realm, and the divine meat is of no help to their cultivation, it can still temper their bodies. Qin Feiyang looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "Okay." Ling Yunfei, who was gnawing on the divine meat, responded vaguely. With a wave of his hand, Li Jian, Scorpion King, and the other beasts suddenly appeared out of thin air. What's going on? Looking at the scene in front of them, Li Jian and the other beasts looked at each other. They had been in Ling Yunfei's spatial divine item, concentrating on comprehending the profound meaning of becoming a god, so they didn't care about what was going on outside. There were even many things that they didn't know. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "Divine meat, go and have a taste." Divine meat? The eyes of Scorpion King and the other beasts lit up. Li Jian's face was filled with shock. How could there be divine meat? He turned to look at Qin Feiyang and said in surprise, "Young master, you killed a divine beast?" "No. It's just a tail. The guardian of miracles' tail." Qin Feiyang said. "I see." Li Jian nodded. Of course he knew about the guardian of miracle. When Qin Feiyang fought with Mu Tianyang last time and the guardian of miracle appeared, he hadn't officially gone into seclusion yet. Then this divine meat really can't be missed. Li Jian smiled and went forward to grab a piece of barbecued meat. He returned to Qin Feiyang and said with a smile, "Being able to eat a piece of the guardian of miracles' divine meat will finally give me something to show off to my descendants in the future." Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled. Li Jian sighed again and said, "If only Zhou Zheng hadn't died." Qin Feiyang's smile also disappeared. He patted Li Jian's shoulder and said, I believe that you being alive is the best comfort for him. Chapter 1630. Rumble. High up in the sky. Everyone's cultivation level soared in an instant. But like Qin Feiyang, they only soared by 2 small realms. However, Lu Jing soared by 4 small realms in a row. This meant that he had never eaten divine meat before. He had already cultivated to the 4-star War Emperor level, so now his cultivation level directly caught up with Qin Feiyang. Everyone's strength had increased by a lot, which was naturally a joyous thing. Moreover, everyone had been cultivating in seclusion and hadn't relaxed for a long time. So they took this opportunity to indulge themselves. For the whole night, everyone was partying. They didn't know how many jars of wine they had drunk. But Qin Feiyang didn't touch a single drop of wine. Firstly, he didn't like to drink. Secondly, he had to guard against the Guardian's sneak attack. But after an entire night, the Guardian didn't appear, as if he had already given up on taking revenge on Qin Feiyang. Early the next morning, the party ended. Ling Yunfei and the others entered the castle one after another and began to cultivate. Li Chang and the other 2 broke through to the peak realm. As their parents, Li Yun and the others also began to explain to them the profound meaning of becoming gods. Qin Feiyang listened for a while. Their explanations were similar to what Elder Qin and Second Grandpa said. To him, it didn't have much meaning. Then, he turned and walked to the cauldron. Young Master Qin, the second elder of Fengtian Palace, was reviving a cluster of 7th-grade pill fire. The bottom of the cauldron was already red, and the water in the cauldron had long been boiling. Seeing Qin Feiyang coming over, the second elder raised his head and smiled. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded and asked, Are you also an alchemist? Yes. But I only have a 15-level mental strength, I can't compare to young Master Qin. The second elder said in shame. A 15-level mental strength is already very rare. Qin Feiyang laughed. The second elder shook his head and said, 45, 15-level difference is a whole 30 levels. Young Master Qin, I really can't figure out how a person can have such a high mental strength. There's always someone better than you. Just because you don't know doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Maybe there is someone in this world with a higher spiritual power than me. Qin Feiyang said. If the first pagoda master was still alive, his spiritual power would definitely be higher than his. That's true. The second elder nodded. Qin Feiyang smiled and looked at the cauldron again. Although the water was already boiling, the divine blood in it had yet to solidify. The pieces of divine meat were also extremely fresh, as if they had just been put into the pot. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, It seems that this pot of soup will take at least a month to boil. If I could use your netherworld devil flame to refine it, it definitely wouldn't take this long. But this wok can't withstand the high temperature of the nether devil flame. The second elder said. There's no rush. The soup has to be cooked slowly so that it will be more fragrant. Qin Feiyang smiled. The second elder nodded. Brother Qin. Young master. At this moment, Li Yun and Ning Mingi walked side by side towards Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang turned his head and said with a smile, What's the matter? We suddenly thought of something that we can't figure out. Let's go over there and talk. Li Yun's tone was a little low as he pointed to the left corner of the square. Qin Feiyang nodded. The 3 of them walked to the edge of the square. Qin Feiyang said, What exactly is it that you can't figure out? It's about the Guardian. Although the Guardian is afraid of Chang Shui, it has other means. For example, it can send us out of the Black Tortoise realm. Once we leave the Black Tortoise realm, it doesn't even need to do anything. Once 3 months are up, we will die under the devil mark. Or, it can send you out of the Black Tortoise realm alone. Without your help, we are equivalent to lambs waiting to be slaughtered in front of it. But it didn't do that. Why did it leave us alone? Li Yun and Li Yun frowned. Qin Feiyang couldn't help but raise his eyebrows when he heard this. Suddenly, Zhuge Mingyang appeared beside the three of them like a ghost and asked curiously, "What are you guys talking about? Why are you sneaking around?" Li Yun said in disgust, "It has nothing to do with you. Go away." "Are you sure you want me to go away? You have to know that I've been by its side for a while. I know a lot of things." Zhuge Mingyang teased. Li Yun said, "Then tell me, where did it take the people of the Heavenly Sun Empire in the Nether Hall?" "I don't know." Zhuge Mingyang shook his head. Li Yun said angrily, "Then why did you say that you know a lot of things?" "I asked it about this, but it didn't say. However, it said something very important." Zhuge Mingyang said. "What's the situation?" Qin Feiyang asked. Zhuge Mingyang said with a smile, "You should be mentally prepared because this news will drive you crazy. The fire dragon is not dead." "What?" Qin Feiyang's body shook and he said angrily, "How is that possible? I clearly saw its life fluctuations dissipating with my own eyes." "Yes. If there were no accidents, it would definitely die. However, the giant python took the fire dragon to find an even more powerful person. It was this person who saved it." Zhuge Mingyang said. "What kind of person?" "The creator of the miracle." Qin Feiyang said. "According to the giant python, he's not the creator of the miracle, but he's almost the same. It also said that this person is very interested in you and explicitly asked it not to kill you." Zhuge Mingyang said with a smile. "Interested in me?" Qin Feiyang was stunned and asked in confusion, "Do I know him?" "I don't know. But according to what the giant python said, this person is indeed very powerful. Because only he can remove the devil mark. And the giant python also said that this person can control the thunder punishment of the miracle." Zhuge Mingyang said. "Thunder punishment." Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. The last time he fought with the fire dragon and the giant python, the thunder punishment appeared at the end. If it weren't for Chang Shui and the power of the ancient castle's law, he would have died under the thunder punishment. In other words, as early as that time, this person had already targeted him. Not the creator, but almost the same as the creator. There was no suspense. This person's strength must be very high. It was not a good thing to be targeted by such a terrifying existence. Ning Mingyi and Zhuge Mingyi were even more terrified. He didn't expect that there would be such a big shot in the divine ruins, even more powerful than the giant serpent. Now they couldn't help but wonder whether following Qin Feiyang was right or wrong. "Wait." Suddenly, Li Yun looked up at Zhuge Mingyang and said, "You just said that the devil mark can only be removed by that big shot." "Yes. This is what the giant python said himself." Zhuge Mingyang nodded. Li Yun said again, "That giant python can't be removed." "That's right." Zhuge Mingyang nodded again. "Isn't this completely hopeless? If the giant python can be removed, we still have a glimmer of hope. But that big shot is even more powerful than the giant python, how can we beat him?" Li Yun exclaimed, her face full of despair. Ning Mingyi couldn't help but feel nervous, and secretly said, "Young master, will your method really work?" Qin Feiyang said, "I haven't tried it yet, I don't know, but I believe that he won't lie to me." "Him?" Ning Mingyi was stunned and asked suspiciously, "Who is he?" "You know him too. Let's go see him later." Qin Feiyang said. "I know him too." Ning Mingyi was even more puzzled. Qin Feiyang looked at Zhuge Mingyang and said, "The giant python can't remove the devil mark, which means that the people of the Heavenly Sun Empire and the Nether Palace are still in the Black Tortoise world. I really don't know about that. However, it did say that it would take the people of the Heavenly Sun Empire to a place. I also said the specific place just now, but the giant python didn't tell me. But according to my guess, if this place is not in the Black Tortoise world, then it should be a world similar to the Black Tortoise world. Zhuge Mingyang said. Qin Feiyang frowned and said, You mean, there is a second Black Tortoise world in the miracle? Here, everything is possible, don't you think so? Zhuge Mingyang laughed. Qin Feiyang frowned. I can only think of these two possibilities. Either there really is a second Black Tortoise world. Or Mu Tianyang and the others are still in the Black Tortoise world, but it's too hidden and we can't find them. Zhuge Mingyang said. Qin Feiyang scanned the area and shook his head. This place is really giving me a headache. Lu Mu, come here for a moment. Whoosh! Willow Tree flashed to Qin Feiyang's side and asked, What's the matter? Qin Feiyang took out Chang Shui and said, Here, Chang Shui. Stay here and watch out for the Guardian's sneak attack. Willow Tree took Chang Shui and asked, What about you? Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed and said, I'm going to Soul Ceiling Valley to confirm something. Willow Tree hurriedly said, Then give me Chang Shui. What if the Guardian attacks you? I have the castle. It can't do anything to me. Besides, Soul Ceiling Valley is just ahead. If you hear the commotion, you can bring people to rescue us. Qin Feiyang said. Us? Willow Tree was stunned and asked suspiciously, Who else is going? Qin Feiyang said, Ning Mingi. Li Yun said, Although I don't know what you're going to do, I'll go with you. Zhuge Mingyang smiled and said, Me too. With my current strength, I can help you. Qin Feiyang glanced at Zhuge Mingyang and said indifferently, Only Ning Mingi and I will go. The rest of you stay here. After that, he looked at Ning Mingi and said, Let's go. Ning Mingi nodded. With a wave of his hand, he took Qin Feiyang to the sky and rushed toward Soul Ceiling Valley like lightning. If you don't let me go, I'll go and take a look. Zhuge Mingyang sneered and was about to chase after them. Don't move, or I'll kill you. But at this moment, Willow Tree grabbed Chang Shui and put it on Zhuge Mingyang's neck. Seeing this scene, Zhao Tailai and the others gathered in the center of the square also surrounded them. Are you sure you can kill me? The corner of Zhuge Mingyang's mouth curled up, and there was a trace of mockery that couldn't be removed. Before his voice fell, he disappeared into thin air without warning. Willow Tree's face changed. He quickly took out the image crystal and sent a message to Qin Feiyang. This place was a plain. Aeon City was located in the center of the plain, and Soul Ceiling Valley was at the end of the plain. Therefore, Qin Feiyang and Ning Mingi were about to reach Soul Ceiling Valley. Buzz! The image crystal suddenly rang. Qin Feiyang took out the image crystal, and Willow Tree's shadow immediately appeared. He shouted, Young master, Zhuge Mingyang is following them. Be careful. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and said, I know. After that, he turned off the image crystal, turned around and scanned the void. His eyes flashed with a cold light. Buzz! Suddenly, the image crystal's buzzing sound rang again. But it was not Qin Feiyang's image crystal, but Ning Mingi's. Ning Mingi took out the image crystal from his arms. A black-clothed middle-aged man quickly appeared in the void. This person was about 1.8 meters tall and had an ordinary appearance. He was only a 9-star war emperor. It's you. Why are you looking for me? When Ning Mingi saw the middle-aged man, his expression was a little surprised and he asked suspiciously. Alliance Master, something bad has happened. Just now, someone sent a message from the Devil's Land, saying that the stone gate of the Devil's Land has disappeared. The middle-aged man shouted. What stone gate? Ning Mingi was puzzled. It's the entrance to the Black Tortoise realm. The middle-aged man said. What? The entrance disappeared? Ning Mingi's gaze trembled, and he roared, Say it again. The entrance has disappeared. The middle-aged man said. Ning Mingi was like a bolt from the blue on the spot. His body and mind trembled, and his mind rumbled. Qin Feiyang was the same. His face instantly turned pale, and even his vision turned black. Chapter 1631. Is the news true? After a while, Ning Mingi came back to his senses and asked the middle-aged man. It's true. The middle-aged man said. Damn it! Ning Mingi roared. The entrance had existed for so many years, how could it disappear for no reason? It must be the Guardian's doing. This move is really ruthless. Zhuge Mingyang appeared and sighed. Weren't you with it at first? Didn't it tell you to destroy the entrance? Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. No. Zhuge Mingyang shook his head. Qin Feiyang sneered, then, do you regret being with us now? Of course. Why was I so stupid to be with you? If I was with the python, I would have left the black tortoise world long ago. Zhuge Mingi was extremely annoyed. It's useless to regret. Now, even if we remove the devil mark, we can't leave the black tortoise world. Ning Mingi sighed and put away the image crystal. What did you say? Remove the devil mark. Zhuge Mingyang was surprised. Ning Mingi said impatiently, I said even if the devil mark can be removed, I didn't say it can be removed. Qin Feiyang glanced at Zhuge Mingyang, then looked at Ning Mingi and asked, who was that person just now? Is his information reliable? He's the city lord of a small city in the northern part of the black tortoise world. For some reason, I have a personal relationship with him, so he shouldn't lie to me. Ning Mingi said. Qin Feiyang nodded and pondered for a while, then looked at Zhuge Mingyang and said, why don't you go to the devil's land to take a look? You have so many subordinates, but you don't want them to go. Why do you want me to go? Zhuge Mingyang said unhappily. Qin Feiyang said, they don't have powerful spatial divine items. What if they run to the devil's land and get caught by the guardian? Then you can go too. Zhuge Mingyang said. I have something to do and can't leave. Qin Feiyang frowned. What is it? Could it be because of this Soul Seal Valley? Are there any secrets hidden inside? Zhuge Mingyang was curious. Aren't you annoying? Whether you go to the devil's land or not, don't follow me. Qin Feiyang said. I followed you. Is Soul Sealing Valley your home? Are you the only one who can enter? Zhuge Mingyang teased. Ning Mingi said angrily, why are you so unreasonable? Soul Sealing Valley is my home, so it's naturally the young master's home. What does it have to do with you? Hee hee. Looks like there really is some secret hidden here. Zhuge Mingyang smiled playfully. Qin Feiyang was incomparably annoyed. He looked at Ning Mingi and said, let's go to the devil's land. All right. Ning Mingi nodded and opened a portal. The two walked in one after another. Zhuge Mingyang did not follow in. He looked up at Soul Sealing Valley and sneered, I'd like to see what secrets there are inside. Whoosh! Before his voice faded, he turned into a stream of light and disappeared into Soul Sealing Valley. The River of Erosion. The Bridge. Qin Feiyang and Zhuge Mingi appeared out of thin air. Ning Mingi frowned and said, young master, I always feel that this Zhuge Mingyang's purpose of following us is not simple. I know. He must be planning something. Maybe he's looking for an opportunity to let me kill him. Qin Feiyang said. Let you kill him? What do you mean? Ning Mingi was suspicious. Let's talk as we walk. Qin Feiyang said. The two crossed the stone bridge one after another and entered the devil's land. On the way, Qin Feiyang briefly told Ning Mingi about Zhuge Mingyang's situation. After listening, Ning Mingi was shocked. There was such a thing in the world. He died once and was resurrected again, and his strength was soaring crazily. He didn't even need to comprehend the profound meaning of becoming a god and directly stepped into the false god realm. This was too strange. Ning Mingyi asked, "Young master, what kind of demonic art did this Zhuge Mingyang cultivate?" "I don't know." Qin Feiyang shook his head. "Then it seems that we have to be more careful when facing him in the future," Ning Mingyi whispered. Qin Feiyang nodded and turned to stare at Ning Mingyi, saying, "Let me ask you again, do you and Li Yun really not have a 9th grade alchemy fire?" "No, no." Ning Mingyi shook his head like pounding garlic. "Let me tell you, I can peek into your inner thoughts through the enslavement seal. But because I respect and trust you, I didn't do that. So I want to say, please don't let me down," Qin Feiyang said. Ning Mingyi looked a little hesitant. "In fact, Willow Tree has already told me that there are people in the Vanga League and the Vanga League who have a 9th grade alchemy fire. But do you know why I didn't expose it in front of you in Aeon City?" Qin Feiyang said. "Why?" Ning Mingyi looked at him suspiciously. Qin Feiyang said, "After all, there are so many people present, I have to save face for you." Ning Mingyi smiled bitterly and nodded, saying, "Okay, I admit, Li Yun and I do have a 9th grade alchemy fire." After that, Ning Mingyi stopped, and a stream of light swept out from between his eyebrows. It was a palm-sized alchemy fire. But it was different from other alchemy fires. This alchemy fire was reddish gold in color, dazzling and giving people a piercing sharpness. Although Li Yun and I have a 9th grade alchemy fire, because we can't find a 9th grade alchemy furnace, we have never used the 9th grade alchemy fire to refine elixirs all these years," Ning Mingyi said regretfully. Qin Feiyang said, "At least you are honest." Ning Mingyi smiled embarrassedly and gritted his teeth, saying, "Here you go." "No need, you can keep it first." "Anyway, I don't need it now," Qin Feiyang said. "Don't need it?" Ning Mingyi was taken aback. "Yes. First, I don't have a 9th grade alchemy furnace. Second, every time the Nether Devil Flame is upgraded, it needs 3 alchemy fires of the same level. Even with Li Yun's 9th grade alchemy fire, there are only 2 alchemy fires. It's not enough," Qin Feiyang said. "I see. Then you have to be mentally prepared. Although this 9th grade alchemy fire is not comparable to a divine artifact, it is rarer than a divine artifact. It can only be found by chance. Li Yun and I found our 9th grade alchemy fires in the divine ruins. And I haven't found the Black Tortoise realm yet," Ning Mingyi said. Qin Feiyang nodded. Ning Mingyi put away his alchemy fire and asked curiously, "What about Li Yun's alchemy fire? Do you plan to let him give it to you? A forcibly picked melon is not sweet. I will let him take the initiative to give it to me," Qin Feiyang said with a smile. A few hours later, the two finally entered the central area of the Devil's Land. Here, they could already sense the aura of pseudo-god level beasts. Qin Feiyang wondered if he should kill a ferocious beast now and see if he could remove the devil imprint. But after thinking about it, he gave up on this idea. It was better not to alert the enemy. A moment later, the two landed in the sky above the square, and their expressions suddenly sank. The stone gate in the square had indeed disappeared. Ning Mingyi sighed, "Young master, I'm afraid even you will be trapped in this place for the rest of your life. This beast is really despicable." Qin Feiyang snorted coldly, took out the image crystal, and sent a message to Willow Tree. Willow Tree's shadow appeared. Qin Feiyang said, "Has Zhuge Mingyang returned?" Willow Tree nodded and said, "He came back a long time ago, and now he seems to be in his space divine object." "Where are you now?" Qin Feiyang said, "We are in the Devil's Land." "Did the stone gate disappear?" Willow Tree asked. Li Yun and the others also quickly gathered around, looking nervously at Qin Feiyang. Obviously, Zhuge Mingyang had already told everyone. "It disappeared," Qin Feiyang said. Damn it! Everyone was furious. Willow Tree looked at Qin Feiyang and asked, "What should we do now?" "Don't panic. There's always a way out." Qin Feiyang comforted, turned off the image crystal, glanced at the square, and said to Ning Mingi, "Let's go to the Soul-Sealing Valley." When the two arrived at the Soul-Sealing Valley, the sky was already dark. In the Soul-Sealing Valley, there was a white mist, which made the huge valley even more mysterious. Ning Mingi asked suspiciously, "Who are we looking for here?" No one knew the Soul-Sealing Valley better than him. Except for his Vanga League people, there was no one else here. Qin Feiyang said, "Let's go in first." Ning Mingi hurriedly said, "No, your cultivation is not enough. You will be petrified if you go in." "I won't." Qin Feiyang smiled and stepped into the Soul-Sealing Valley. But unexpectedly, his body quickly petrified and turned into a stone statue in the blink of an eye. "Didn't you say that I won't be petrified?" Ning Mingi was stunned and quickly rushed to Qin Feiyang's side, hugged the petrified Qin Feiyang, and prepared to leave the Soul-Sealing Valley. Because as long as he was in the Soul-Sealing Valley, the petrification state would immediately disappear. But just as he was about to leave the entrance, Ning Mingi suddenly stopped. He put down the petrified Qin Feiyang and looked at Qin Feiyang's face, with a cold light in his eyes. As the former owner of the Soul-Sealing Valley, he naturally knew the effect of petrification. A petrified person would have no consciousness or perception, no different from a real stone statue. For him, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He was thinking. Should he kill Qin Feiyang now? If he killed Qin Feiyang, he could regain his freedom, and nothing would change. He was still the leader of the Vanga League. He dominated the Black Tortoise world. But he really wanted to leave the Black Tortoise world and the miracle. After being trapped here for so many years, he had really had enough. But he was thinking, now that the stone door had disappeared, would Qin Feiyang still have a way to take him away? Also, if he really killed Qin Feiyang, what would happen if the Guardian came to take revenge on him? Because no matter what, he had already offended the Guardian, and that was an indisputable fact. He was constantly struggling in his heart. Fine. I'll take a gamble on him. Ning Mingi gritted his teeth, picked up the petrified Qin Feiyang again, and was about to leave. But at this moment, boom! A rule force descended from the sky, charging toward the two like lightning. "This is," Ning Mingi turned pale with fright. The Guardian was hiding in the dark. At the same time, Willow Tree and the others also sensed the aura of the rule force, and hurriedly rose into the air, looking toward the Soul-Sealing Valley. As soon as he saw the rule force, Willow Tree's expression changed, and he hurriedly rushed toward the Soul-Sealing Valley. Li Yun and the others also followed. Qin Feiyang cannot die. Chapter 1632. Damn it! Why was I hesitating just now? If I didn't hesitate, I would have retreated with Qin Feiyang. His petrification must have been lifted by now. Then now, we can also hide in the castle. Ning Mingi was in despair. It was too late to regret. However, just as the rule force blasted down, accompanied by a loud bang, the castle rushed out from between Qin Feiyang's eyebrows. An invisible force surged toward the rule force like an avalanche. In an instant, time seemed to be still. The rule force stopped in the void, motionless. Damn it! An angry curse sounded from the top of the sky. It was the giant python. Hearing the voice of the giant python, Ning Mingi looked up and roared, "You are also a guardian, can't you be a little more aboveboard?" Humph! The giant python snorted coldly and instantly disappeared without a trace. The rule force also quickly dissipated. Ning Mingi hurriedly carried the petrified Qin Feiyang and retreated from the Soul-Sealing Valley. His whole body was dripping with cold sweat and fear. First, it was because of the Guardian. Second, it was because of the castle. If he really wanted to kill Qin Feiyang before, the castle would definitely take the initiative to protect him. At that time. With Qin Feiyang's character, he would definitely not let him off easily. Thank goodness. He didn't do that. After leaving the soul-sealing valley, Qin Feiyang's petrified state quickly disappeared. His eyes were full of confusion. Looking at the castle, he looked at Ning Mingyi and asked, "What happened just now? Why did the castle wake up? Just as you entered the soul-sealing valley, you were immediately petrified. I was about to bring you out, but the guardian came. It was the castle that saved us." Ning Mingyi laughed. "You're really haunting me." Qin Feiyang was extremely angry. Whoosh! At this time, Willow Tree and the others came through the air. Willow Tree quickly asked, "Young master, are you okay?" "I'm fine." Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and with a thought, the ancient castle disappeared into his glabella. "It's good that you're okay." Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Qin Feiyang looked up at Soul-Sealing Valley, a trace of suspicion in the depths of his eyes. What did this mysterious man mean? Wasn't it supposed to be a collaboration? Why was he petrified? "Little brother, I'm sorry." But suddenly, the mysterious man's voice sounded in Qin Feiyang's mind. "What do you mean?" Qin Feiyang thought. "Originally, I wanted to come out to see you, but I suddenly realized that the guardian was watching you from above. If I don't petrify you, it will definitely be able to tell." The mysterious man said. "I see." Qin Feiyang suddenly understood. The mysterious man transmitted his voice, "Other than the protectors, you also have to be careful of Ning Mingyi." "Be careful of Ning Mingyi?" Qin Feiyang was taken aback. "Yes. After you were petrified, he could have brought you out in time." However, he hesitated. "And his eyes were filled with killing intent towards you," the mysterious man said. Qin Feiyang glanced at Ning Mingyi, a cold glint flashed in his eyes. The mysterious man said, "Little brother, why did you come looking for me?" Qin Feiyang said, "The stone gate to leave the Black Tortoise realm has disappeared. I wanted to ask you, is there any other way to leave the Black Tortoise realm?" "What? The stone gate disappeared?" The mysterious man was shocked. "Yes." Qin Feiyang thought. "This stinky snake is really vicious. It's obvious that it wants to trap you here." The mysterious man said. "I know, that's why I came looking for you." Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice. The mysterious man went silent for a while, then said, "There is no other exit from the Black Tortoise realm, but I do have a way to leave." "How do we leave?" Qin Feiyang quickly asked. The mysterious man said, "At the end of the desert, there is a palace." "The end of the desert?" Qin Feiyang was stunned, then asked, "Are you talking about the desert in the depths of the departed Spirit Mountain range?" "Yes." The mysterious man said. "If you can find that palace, you can leave the Black Tortoise realm," but, at this point, the mysterious man's words stopped abruptly. "But what?" Qin Feiyang asked. The mysterious man said, "Normal people can't open the gate to the palace, only the Creator can do so, not even the Guardian can." Qin Feiyang's face twitched, thinking, then isn't that the same as saying nothing? Even the Guardian couldn't open the gate to the palace, let alone him. No. You shouldn't be discouraged, you should think of a way to open the gate to the palace. Because there is a supreme treasure hidden inside the palace. With that supreme treasure, you can control the Black Tortoise realm." The mysterious man said. "What? Control the Black Tortoise realm?" Qin Feiyang was shocked. "Yes." The mysterious man said. Qin Feiyang was shocked, "Are you sure you're not joking with me?" "I'm sure." The mysterious man said with absolute certainty. Qin Feiyang was extremely excited. Control the Black Tortoise Realm. He had never thought of this before. Moreover, when you control the Black Tortoise Realm, not only can you escape, you can also directly remove the devil mark on everyone. Of course. The Guardian won't let you barge in easily, but I believe that you will definitely have a way. The mysterious man said. Qin Feiyang was even more tempted when he heard that. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and said to himself, if the Guardian notices my motive and moves the supreme treasure out of the Black Tortoise Realm in advance, what should I do? The mysterious man smiled. It doesn't have the ability to do so, because that supreme treasure, other than the master of the Black Tortoise Realm, no one can take it out of the Black Tortoise Realm. The master of the Black Tortoise Realm? Wait. But there is a seal on the stone tower. I tried my best, but I couldn't break this seal. Zhuge Mingyang frowned. Stone tower. Seal. Qin Feiyang was surprised. Zhuge Mingyang looked at Qin Feiyang's expression and said, don't tell me you don't know. I really don't know. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Zhuge Mingyang was slightly taken aback and puzzled, then why did you enter the Soul Sealing Valley? Qin Feiyang said with a smile, nothing, I'm just curious about the Soul Sealing Valley. Just curious? Zhuge Mingyang was stunned. Was that so? But why did he feel that this reason was really hard to believe? Back in the square, Ning Mingyi asked, young master, what do we do next? Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile, I'm going to cultivate in seclusion, you guys continue to stew. You still have the mood to cultivate in seclusion? Ning Mingyi was really speechless. Did this young master know what the situation was now? We'll cross the bridge when we get there. There's nothing to worry about. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and ignored everyone. He directly entered the ancient castle and continued to copy the last stroke of the Xing character formula. Relying on the divine flesh of the giant python, his cultivation base was lucky enough to break through to the 8-star combat emperor. When he finished copying the last stroke of the Xing character formula, he would be able to step into the 9-star combat emperor realm. Then, he would take the 5 elements universe pill and directly enter the peak combat emperor realm. He was only one step away from the false god realm. Outside, Zhuge Mingyang glanced at Ning Mingyi's group and shook his head, if you follow this bastard, you'll be killed by him sooner or later. Don't fan the flames here. If you have the ability, take us out of the Black Tortoise boundary. Willow Tree snorted coldly. You still don't believe me? Then wait and see. Sooner or later, you'll know how wrong your decision to follow Qin Feiyang is. Zhuge Mingyang sneered and also entered the spatial divine item. Sigh. How worrisome. Ning Mingyi sighed deeply. The others' faces were also full of worry.